See how many people pop in now.
I was going to pick up some of those floats from Muddy River, those bobber floats that he made. I was going to pick up some of those floats from Muddy River.
Oh, those little foam float?
Yeah, to use on the lake.
Yeah, those are simple to make. Hello, Maurice. Michael Morello, welcome. Michael Morello's in. Maurice.
What's going on, Maurice?
This is new, and I'm going to have two guests on at one time. Fishing and Cooking with Mike Chavez. Howdy. Jonathan Bevins. Hello. Hello, Maurice. Elston, Avid, and Great Outdoors. She says hi. Maurice.
Hey, Maurice.
Do you have, is your mic working, Elston? Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
No. He was working earlier.
I think it went off when you flipped it over live.
Try rebooting. Oh, what happened there? Charlie Hubbard, what's up? Oh, you're fishing on the Ohio River. Catch anything, Charlie?
I can't hear you.
Not yet.
Can you hear us? Okay. Yeah, I think you need to try rebooting.
Hey, Jays. Go back and check your notifications because YouTube's been messing up with that one lately.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know last night that you were going live until I was texting with Paris, and I said, I thought Avid said
I was going
something.
Yeah, I was going to go live.
And he said, yeah, he's on right now.
All right, let's try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Perfect.
Maurice Carson, hey, you're saying hi to you, Chunky.
Maurice, Maurice. Thank you, Maurice. I'm sorry, you couldn't hear me earlier. Maurice is awesome.
I think something happened when I switched to live.
No, I had an incoming call. My buddy was calling me. I exited him out, but it messed it up.
Oh,
okay, I messed it up.
I'll blame it on Oscar.
We got it fixed.
Good. Awesome.
Jay's asking, how's it going, Chunky?
It's going awesome. I wish I could be fishing. I've asked my wife the last 3 days, can I go fishing? She said, look, we're really trying to do our best not to get infected or just what most people are saying for us to do, but she won't let me go fishing. I said, I'm going to be by myself. I'll be all alone. That's one of the parts I haven't gone. The second is because most of the roads by where I go fishing, they're shut down. Yeah. Now, not DC. DC is not shut down. It's just the park. All the riverside, the channel side, all the roads are closed.
I'm gonna call it.
There's a cherry blossom. They call it the Cherry Blossom Festival. I think there were a couple of thousand trees that China donated to Washington D.C. and they have them planted all around the D.C. Tidal Basin, and they bloom right around there at peak bloom. They look absolutely gorgeous, but they're really trying to keep people away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cause a little bit of a feeding frenzy real quick.
Look at that. Look at the.
Oh, there you go. These look like piranhas.
I set up outside. Hey, Avid. I set up outside, and it started to sprinkle. It's not supposed to rain till like 10 or 11 o'clock. It's, and I have nowhere to run, so
Open garage door. Open your garage door.
yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can turn this up.
Charlie Hubbard
Alright,
said the beauty of no wife is on fishing, Chunky.
Can y'all see that pretty clear?
Yeah?
Yep.
I have all my rods out.
Wow. Which one was the broke rod that your son was trying to show?
Say that again, Avid.
Which one was the broken rod that your kid was trying to show you?
For some reason, I'm getting feedback when you say something.
The broken rod that your kid was trying to show you?
Oh no, that's a Barbie doll. The Barbie
Okay.
one.
Going
Hey,
on?
long time no see. Hey, Paris. Hi, Dave Booth, angler.
I'm just gonna show you some of the rods before, in case we get run out. I took about 30 minutes setting all this up.
30 minutes to settle all that up?
Well, let's just say 15. All right, I'm
Yeah.
overdo it. I mean, because they were inside the shed, and I had to pull them out and line them up. But most of you have seen my setup. Some of them are painted with fluorescent paint, and I do use black light. Let me just show you those who have never seen my setup. It's a rolling wagon. I have 2 black lights. I have my boat battery in here, an inverter here, and I just plug them up and rock and roll.
Ozark guy is saying that those are awesome rods under black lights.
Oh, I agree. I love them. I absolutely love it.
Paris, all those rods are wrapped. One rod
Yeah,
is wrapped in monofilament.
Yeah, they have high reflect tape in certain areas. Like for instance, this one has it here, but when I turn the light on, it'll reflect back. Yeah, just different wraps.
Dave Booth says that's an awesome setup you got.
I appreciate that. Who said that?
John, you look beat up.
Yeah. I'm tired. Like 72 hours straight. Well,
All right, Avid. What questions do you have? If you have any for me, because it's starting to sprinkle here.
First off, what gave you the idea to wrap your rods?
Before I did any wrapping, it was using a fluorescent paint, just from Home Depot. They have 3 colors. I think they have orange, pink, lime green, and some other. And it was just painted, but it was the mess. The very first time I did that, I painted them, and then you have to paint different sections. And when you start to mask it off, when I took off the masking tape, it would all come back off. So then what I did is you have to prime them with oil-based primer, which is the Kiehl's. They sell it also at Home Depot. You spray them with Kiehl's, and then you do steps. But here's the thing about fluorescent paint, guys. It takes many, many coats. It's not like a 1 or 2 coat project. I mean, it takes anywhere between 10 to 15 coats to get proper coverage. And then you have to let that dry, put clear coat, and then go to the next color.
Okay, here's a question for both of you guys.
Go for it.
What got you into catfishing?
Go ahead, Great Outdoors.
yeah, so I was telling before the show started, Elston and Avid, that my background is basically northern pike and walleye. But when I moved to Missouri, the first time I experienced catfishing was with my brother. He was in college and he was using basically the jug lines that he was working in a Chinese restaurant, and his buddies taught him how to use the jug lines. And I thought he was crazy because we were sitting up the night before drinking like a bunch of 2-liter pop bottles, and he was telling everybody, do not throw them away. We're going to use them for fishing in the morning. And I thought he was nuts. So we put some lines on him, let him sit out there. And I thought it was a joke. And walked down the creek, started doing some fishing, came back like 3 hours later, and you could see all the pop bottles moving around. But what really got me excited about catfishing is it's just a different type of fishing, and I'm always up for learning new things. So catfishing, like a lot of you are, but it's something I'm interested in getting involved with because when I lived down in New Orleans for 10 years, that's all I ate is a steady diet for every day, and I gained, I think, about 1,000 pounds eating at those restaurants, eating catfish and all that good stuff. So, I just I'm more interested now in catching my food and eating it instead of going to a grocery store and eating processed food that'll kill me.
Yeah, that's good.
So the first time, well, it's kind of a story. What got me into fishing, first of all, was I remember my dad taking us out one time. I grew up in San Antonio, and it was a lake down there. It's called Calaveras Lake, and we went out fishing, and it was our summer vacation. It was the last day of summer, and the following day we had to go to school, and we were just so excited that we're out fishing. And he says, because we couldn't cast very far. I'm guessing maybe 10 years old, and we walked down the water up to our waist, and we were casting, and I had just caught my first catfish. Pretty quickly. It was a small one, nothing big. And then a lightning storm started coming. I just wanted to fish. I mean, we had just literally just started fishing, and my dad says, "Get out of the water." There was a thunderstorm coming, lightning hitting everywhere, so we had to pull in. So that was I can clearly remember that day about my dad taking us fishing. But then just growing up, in Texas, I did a lot of fishing. Never caught any big fish in Texas. But I would drive down from San Antonio. I would drive down to Rockport or Corpus Christi, which is about a 3-hour drive, and would do a lot of saltwater fishing.
Okay.
And then when I moved up to DC in 2002, I asked a few people because I knew how to fish. In other words, I knew how to tie my knots and hooks, stuff like that. Wasn't an expert, but I asked a few people in 2002. I said, "Hey, how's the fishing here?" And people said, "Oh, it's terrible here. There's no fish here." And I asked that like 4 or 5 different people, but I asked the wrong people. I mean, I should have never. They said there's only shad here, and I didn't fish for over 10 years, and I hated this area. I was like, you know what? First of all, the traffic here around the DC area is absolutely terrible. There's no fishing here. Until I started watching a YouTuber. I mean, everyone knows him, Luke from Catfish and Carp, which lives really close to where I live, only about maybe 10, 15 miles away. And I started watching his videos, and I was like, he was fishing in the tidal basin. He was fishing the Potomac River, catching these big catfish. And ever since I started watching his videos, that was it. Man, I was hooked on catfishing, big catfish.
All right, this next question is for Great Outdoors. I'm posting it on the screen.
Yeah, Whisker Whisper, it's really hard to compare them because when the catfish, the ones that I've caught, it's just kind of they take it and they kind of run with the line. Whereas the pike, I mean, it's almost kind of like a crappie. You just get that big sudden hit, and it really depends on the size of the pike. But I mean, they'll fight you all the way back to the boat or to the bank. But yeah, when they hit your line, so there's something on, and usually the ones that get off, it just takes a split second and you'll feel your rod let up. But yeah, when they hammer your line, man, I mean, they are on. It's just like it's a feeding frenzy. And I would say the only really difference is I think the pike they're more territorial than catfish. So that's kind of the thing about pike is you can only fish in a certain spot for so long, and then you got to kind of move over. Where I think with cats, you can kind of sit there all day and not sit there all day, but you can use kind of the same area. Pike are a little bit different, but yeah, man, when they hit your line, it's aggressive. I mean, they're very
an explosion.
Yeah, it's like territorial predator. And I've seen those things eat like little loons and stuff in the weeds. Like if they set up a nest, they'll go in there and eat them.
All right, this next one is for both of you. I'm posting it up on the screen. What is your favorite memory of fishing with your grandparents?
I've never fished with my grandparents.
What's your favorite memory of fishing?
I mean, it goes down to when I explained my dad. My first time I could really remember him taking us fishing when that storm hit pretty quickly, that pulled us away. But I can clearly remember that day.
Yeah. I never did any fishing with my grandparents. I would go duck hunting with my grandfather, but I would say the best experience I had was up in the Saskatchewan province of Canada, up in Reindeer Lake, where you go in there, and I mean, you're probably a good 350 miles from civilization. I'm in there with my dad and brother, and the only way in is through a plane to get in there, and but that's pike and walleye, same thing. But yeah, you're
That's
out in the
good.
middle of nowhere.
All right, this next one is for you from Maurice, Great Outdoors. What's your favorite catfishing rod and reel setup?
Yeah, I like the so my reel, the one I really enjoy is the one I just recently got, that the Penn Battle 2. And I put that on that 13-foot Akuma rod, or I put it on my my Cat Max rod, which is an 11-footer. And one of the things I'm still looking to try is, Avid, your setup on your rigging system. This thing right here.
This ain't, yeah, that rig.
Yeah.
That rig is cool. It glows in the water.
Yeah.
It actually glows in the dark.
Yeah, it's got those inline rattles on it.
Yeah, there's beads and those inland rattles. They all glow in the dark, so they'll light up in the water.
Yeah.
This next one is for Chunky Cat. Why do you like spinning reels over bait casters?
It's just, for me, it's easier to use, and here's the main reason: is that when you're having a decent sized fish and it's pulling drag, you can hear it if it has a different ping. I mean, a decent ping or drag system. That's pretty much the only reason, because you can. I love when the fish is pulling drag, and that sound that just the clicker that's pulling the line out. And as much as, to my knowledge, you can't find that on a bait caster. I just recently started using the bait caster that's on this rod this one right here. It has an Abu 5000, which is very, very small. But for me, that I'm new in using bait casters, it is a blast. But it has no clicker to it.
There's another one for you, Chunky. Heard Whisker Seeker is going to make a medium action rod.
I would take 4 in a heartbeat. If they did that, that would be my favorite rod. Now, yes, a lot of people hear me speak about Whisker Seeker. It's a great rod. It's an even through. I love rods that have a lot of action when you're bringing in a decent sized fish. But if they made a medium action, I would be all over it.
This one is for you, Outdoors.
Yeah, Ozark, I haven't been able to use it yet, given the circumstances, but I did take the rod on your store and put the Yin Yang 60 reel on it. And I also did pick up some of your line. And first chance I get, I'm going to give the rod and reel a try and see how it does. I'll probably use that on the Missouri River, and then use it out at Lake Jacomo or Blue Springs Lake. But I like it. I like the thread and how it sets up in there with the little notches. So when you put it on, you know it's not going to come off. And I mean, this thing is sturdy. I mean, it's a solid. And I'm putting some pressure on it.
Can you, Elston, can you see the statements when I put them on the screen?
I can, but it's better for you to read it to me, because
This one I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing because the first 3 words are in Spanish.
¿Qué pasa? Carnal. Carnal is, he said, ¿Qué pasa? Is like, what's happening, brother? Carnal is brother in Spanish.
Right. That's what I thought, but I wasn't for sure. It's been so long since I spoke Spanish. Making the big time, Chunky.
There you go. Well, we're trying. You know what? I've always said with me, there will be no secrets. You know, a lot of people speak about when they're on YouTube, they don't want to say where they're fishing at or they have to keep it a secret. I've always said until the day I hit 10,000, if I ever hit 10,000 subscribers, I will always tell where I'm fishing at. At least if I really can. If I really can.
All right, Chunky, here's one for you. Advice for a beginning fisherman for catfishing. What would you say? Give him as advice.
Don't go expensive. If you're new into the catfishing or fishing, start really less expensive. I have a really good video. It's like the Walmart challenge. Go to Walmart, get a tiger. What do you call it? Tiger something. Shakespeare tiger. It's a combo. Sometimes they go as little as like $16 or $19. They've gone up in price like $22. Get one of those. Put maybe a little bit better line. If not that, if your budget's a little bit bigger, I mean, it depends. I mean, I always tell people, if it's your grandparents that are going to get you, you know, your first couple of rods, you know, if they want to spend a little bit of money, maybe go to Ugly Stick. Ugly Stick is a very affordable rod. It's the catfish rod. I love Ugly Sticks. But yeah, you don't have to start expensive. I think a good line, good knots, and good hook.
All right, here's a question for both of you. What or who inspired you to create your YouTube fishing channels?
I'll start on that one. So going back to Luke from Catfishing Carp, he used to have meet and greets. You know, you would meet and fish along with him, and it was at the tidal basin. And I think I met him, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I can't remember my time frame, but let's say 4.5 years ago. And there was some people that actually knew little to nothing about fishing, and they had GoPros and they were doing YouTube. And one guy actually fell in the water, fell in the tidal basin. I mean, it wasn't so much his fault. I wish his camera would have been rolling. He hit a slick spot. And I was like, you know what? I'm catching these big fish. I want people to do what I'm doing. Once again, because going back to when I moved to DC, asking the wrong people and not fishing for 10 years, I want people to know there's big fish here, and it's really easy to catch them from the bank. If you have, you know, it's not extremely easy, but if you have, you know, decent bait, it's all about the bait. I think, number one, I just want people to know, come do what I'm doing.
Good bait, good line, a good sinker, and a good rod will get you a good cat.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess my channel, and it was like I was telling you earlier, I watch especially things on YouTube to learn stuff. So mine's going to be a little variation of fishing, hiking, and camping. And that's basically the America's parks. If you guys are interested in figuring out what's going on in different state or national parks, that's the channel I watch. It's called America's Parks. It's a pastor from New Jersey. As far as guns and things like that, there's a guy in Kentucky called Hit. So one of the big things I had is I like to go hiking, and I really had no idea of the trails I was going on. So I would go and watch what other YouTubers are doing. So that's kind of something that I'm doing, is giving back, as far as these are some trails that are not like up in the Badlands,
right,
or Roosevelt National Park up in North Dakota. That those are kind of parks that are often overlooked. So mine's going to kind of be a variation of fishing, hiking, camping, and some hunting, primarily. It's just me going on there and learning more from other people and what they were doing. But that's kind of one of the things that I really wanted to do, was kind of give people an idea of what all the different park services and things are that they offer. So even if you like fishing, you go down to Buffalo River in Arkansas, you have an idea of what to expect when you go down there.
Hey, Mr. Abbott, how many people we have watching the show?
Right now it says 12.
Okay.
And more people popping in.
So I want to show you really quickly because the rain kind of let up a little bit, the drizzle. I want to show you what I worked on yesterday. These are, here we go.
Right
These
there.
are spook. These are spook. These are spooks that I picked up from Walmart, and I did my twist to them. Those of you who saw my last video, I gave a giveaway. I gave 2 away. One of these is going to go to Combat Carl, and the other one I can't remember who won, but I'm going to be sending. This is one of them. I have 3 of them. This is guys. This is those who are new to catfishing. These are called. A lot of people call them demon dragons. I did put eyes on them. I put the kind of finished it off. So, Mr. Abbey, before I leave, before the rain kicks me out of here, this one? Let's see. No, this one's yours, Mr. Abbott.
Right.
This one's yours, and then one goes to Combat Carl. So why don't we give one of these away to someone in chat? I don't know how you want to do it. You just want to scroll and pick somebody or do a number game? That's up to you.
All right. Let's answer this one real quick. This next question for you, then we'll go do that. Elstan, do you think the eel would be best for blues or flatheads? Very curious. We have a lot of flatheads this way. Eels are in high demand.
Here's the thing about eel. People have asked me in the past, how did you find out about eel? And it's funny because the person I found out, it's a YouTuber. He's really, really big. I don't follow him very much. But I put DC fishing and what's the Filipino who comes at the Asian person? Not one reel. It's help me out, guys. Anyone here can help me out?
I missed it. I was looking at something.
So, anyways, it was a big YouTuber who I saw using eel, and he said this: eel never fails. And ever since I saw,
I know the guy. I just can't remember his name.
Yeah, he has. I think he has over 100,000 subscribers. I saw him at Luke's event, and I said, I have eel. And he's like, oh, does it work? I was like, you're the one that you had a video about it. I mean, he makes so many videos. But about flatheads, I wouldn't know. DC does have flatheads, but they're more towards the rocks. And most of the areas that I fish at, they're kind of man-made. So in other words, the DC tidal basin has been man-made 30, 40 years ago, and the channel side has been man-made. I don't think the flatheads like to hang around in those areas.
I'm going to do a question for the audience and see who can get it right.
What is that for?
That's
for the question, or is that for this?
That's for that there. But it's off your 2 videos that you did recently. No, I'm not cleaning it. All right. In Chunky's last 2 videos, live stream he did, which video had the largest weight count on it? First one to get that will get a prize from Chunky. The total weight.
Everyone's leaving right now to go.
Was it 125?
No.
Okay.
The first video.
Whoever wins that.
Michael Morello, you got it right. 110.
I was off
100%.
Michael Morello and Justin Fishing Fetish both got it right.
Michael Murillo, who else?
Justin Fishing Fetish. All right. Michael Morello and Justin Fishing Fetish, what was his second video's total weight? To break it down to one winner.
That's all right. Well, you know what? They both follow me strong, and I'm glad they vote for them. I'll make 2 of them.
Okay. Michael Morello and Justin Fishing Fetish, just get a hold of Chunky Cat.
Get a hold of me or get a hold of you, Mr. Abbott, and they can send you the info, and I'll go whichever.
All right.
And it will be a spook or something, something close to one of these. I've done really well with them lately.
Michael Morello, just get a hold of Chunky Cats after the show and give him your information.
Let me tell you something about Michael Murillo. Let me tell you, Michael Murillo came by one of my videos, my car videos, when I was at 4 Mile Run, and he left me a comment. And this comment to me, I'll be honest, it was so touching that I'll never forget that name, Michael Murillo. I mean, it just, the guy has a skill of writing and touching people. I can just say that much. I'll never forget that. I mean, it just inspired that what I was doing, he enjoyed, and he just said, keep doing what you're doing, brother. I mean, it just, I'll never forget what Michael Murillo did to me one time.
Michael Murillo's been really helping my channel lately.
I mean, he
And
has
I've
an incredible way.
twice.
You know, everybody has a gift, and I think that's one of his gifts that he has is I don't know what he does for a living, but he can sure write. I can say that much.
Now, anybody else have any questions for these two before we pick a topic? I'm looking. Hey, Justin, how you been doing?
Congrats, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's starting up again, Mr. Abbott, the drizzle.
Elstan, will you be or Gabriel? I gotta post that one. He's got that one all messed up.
Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy's amazing. I love watching Fluffy. Fluffy's, I don't know if you know who Fluffy is, but he's a comedian. He's awesome.
Here's one from Justin. He wants to fish with all three of us.
Absolutely.
Here's a question from Dave Booth.
Now, Justin, if I it's because I get all my names and YouTubers mixed up, but I believe Justin was out here fishing with Catfish Bill 66.
Right.
He caught a 45 pound blue catfish on one of the areas where I fish at. If I don't have it wrong, he caught it on a creek chub. I couldn't fish that day with him. I did drop off eel, but I believe he used a creek chub to catch that big fish.
All right. Have you guys any plans for visiting Europe for the Wells catfish in the future?
No,
I'm not a big traveler.
Yeah, I've made plans a couple of times to go to Ireland, but not for fishing.
Here's one from James for you, Chunky. Are you not fishing tonight?
No. I wish I would. I mean, I went out Tuesday to pick up eel at an Asian market. They had them. They were live, but they were freshly put in ice. They're still sitting in my fridge. I need to move them more to my freezer. But my wife, I've been asking her every single day. I believe it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even today. Can I go fishing? She's like, no, because she doesn't want me going out and with what's going on.
Right, someone getting in your face.
Exactly.
You, Chunky.
40. Okay, it was Justin Fish Fetish. Yes.
Here's a statement for you from Justin.
I appreciate that. Thank
41 pound in Elston spot.
One of my spots, absolutely.
Hello, Felicia. Welcome.
There she is.
Who's that?
Miss Felicia.
Right. See if I can get this one posted up there before I lose it.
A Wales catfish. Here's the thing about I'm afraid about traveling because my wife is a huge spender. When we go traveling, it's just not about buying an airline ticket and a hotel.
Yeah, it's buying all the gifts and everything else.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, get off the subject just a little bit. Like literally, when I'm watching like The Price is Right, and they give away these trips. I would not want to win none of those trips because it would cost me way more than the trip's valued at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, Chunky. Whoops, wrong one.
No, I got Mike Chavez. Mike Chavez is an amazing person. We were extremely close to fishing at one of Luke's from Catfish and Carp's events. I'll tell you the story. He actually drove, I believe it's 3-hour drive early in the morning to go to the event. I had a spot, saved for Mike Chavez to fish next to me. And they had all the roads closed because there was a cyclist, bike cyclist going around racing. So nobody could find parking. I got there before they closed the roads down. So Mike Chavez calls me. I can't find parking. I was like, Mike Chavez, keep looking. He's like, you know what? He drove around for about 30 minutes. He headed back home. And about 30 minutes after he started going back home, they opened the roads. And he's like, Elson, you know what? I'm already heading back. Sorry. So he drove 3 hours to fish, at the event, the meet and greet, and he drove all the way back. He didn't even get to fish.
Okay, Chunky, this is for you from Michael Morello.
Okay.
What is your best advice to a bank angler who is going to target catfish in a lake that they've never fished?
Ooh. See,
that's even for beginners.
Wow. That's hard because here's the thing is that there's a lake around here. It's a pretty small lake. It's called Burke Lake. And I think if you have fresh bait, cut it small. Cut fresh small bait and a small decent, not too small, maybe about a 6 or 5/0. But like locations, I'll be honest, I'm not the best to figure out. It's just wherever I have enough little room to sit my family down or to enjoy, that's where I'm going to go. So it's different. If you don't have a family, say it again.
You need some help with that question?
Yes, go for it.
First off, rivers and lakes have two different consistencies. The rivers have a current. They have a seam where the calm water meets the current, and the lake has an underground channel. If you can find a channel and get close to it, you'll get cats. If you find trees in a lake, they're going to lay them down. You can cast out around them to catch your cats. But at the nighttime on the lake, you put your bait closer to the shoreline and you'll get cats because they come up to feed on the bluegills. Whereas with rivers, if you get where the calm water meets the current, where the bait fish hang out, and put your baits in there, you'll catch a lot of bigger cats. That's where I consider lakes versus rivers easier to fish because lakes you can get out there with worms, night crawlers, shad, minnows, cut baits, and catch anything from a 8-pound channel to a 20, 30-pound blue or flathead on the lake. Versus the river where you go anywhere from an 8-pound channel to 50, 60, 80-pound flathead on the river.
What's going on, catfish headhunters?
There's one for you, Great Outdoors.
I like the lake. I mean, to me, I think it's easier to fish lakes, but I'm still learning on the river myself. So if I had to choose one, hands down, I'd say a lake. I'm just more comfortable on a lake, but I'm still experiencing.
I don't use avionics, Justin. I've learned how to read rivers and lakes just from the current.
So where I fish, it is tidal, so it does fluctuate about 3 feet or so.
Right.
But it's not like really rushing out.
No. See
not,
what?
At least not the tidal basin or the channel side. Now, if you go to the other side, which is the same body of water, but it's the river side, there is more current. And now it's not a really super fast moving one, but yes. Excuse me.
Good thing about a tidal basin is basically 4 good times to fish it. Right as it's starting to rise, before it's starting to rise, when the moon's close to the Earth. It's what they call a lunar strike. And as it's going out, it's a good time to hit because that's where the moon's pulling on it, causing the tides to go out. And as it's coming back in, is another good time. And right at the tail end of that intake is another good time to have them hit on it. 4 good times because the lunar strikes are causing it pre-spawn, post-spawn, and right after the strikes. 4 good times for a good lunar strike. All right, here's one from Headhunter. Any of you 3 future catch, clean, and cook videos in your future? Yes, I would.
From me, no, not for me. I'm not that good at filleting a fish. My wife, about 2 years ago, she says let's eat a catfish, and I'm gonna say it was about 8 to 10 pounds, which is a nice sized blue catfish, and we brought it home, and I'll be honest, we made a mess out of it. Yes, we did eat some of the meat, but we didn't get nearly as much meat as we should have got out of it, and I didn't enjoy it.
I will be doing a video on a good way, a perfect playing on how to play a catfish for you, so you guys can learn how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Catfish Headhunter, I mean, he has a good video on just a real simple way, like a 6-minute video on filleting a catfish. And I mean, I thought that was if people are interested in learning about it, go over to his channel and look at that video.
Yeah.
Catfish Headhunter went live today, and I caught the last 5 seconds.
When did he go live?
Huh?
When did he go live? I must have been at work.
He went live today during the daytime, if I'm not mistaken, and he took the video down for some reason. Unless, like I said, I get my people confused sometimes, so that's just me.
Oh, I know. Dieter was live a few minutes ago. Dieter Milhorn. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Dieter to come by and say hi once. He doesn't.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for either one of these guys before we pick a topic?
I'm gonna be heading out here in a couple of minutes because I'll show you how wet it is out here.
All right, I see that. I get to hear the drop of it from time to time.
Oh, you can see him or hear him?
I see him.
Yeah, you see it.
The blue light makes him look like a little blue drop coming through there. Headhunter says today and yesterday uploaded the video. Might have been Matt, is what you've seen.
Oh, okay. Then I'm sorry. It was someone else then.
He uploaded 2 videos, one yesterday and one today. Felicia says, Chunky, she just subscribed to your channel.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Miss Felicia Ozark. Elson said he sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Say that again, David. I'm sorry.
Ozark Guys Fishing sent you a friend's request on Facebook.
That's a bad idea. I have a Facebook. I have a Facebook. I think it's under my name. It's not even. It's Elston Perez. I'll be honest. I don't know how to do Facebook. I don't.
Justin, I do my phone for videos and I just upload them off my phone.
So, Evan, how do we get it with this messenger? If you message me, to me, it's probably easier, I think.
Facebook Messenger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. I guess I do know how to do Facebook, but not very well.
That's Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
Okay, so Chunky, have you ever fished for catfish before you moved to Washington?
Yes. I used to go a lot of bank fishing at San Antonio, 2 lakes, Bronick Lake and Calaveras Lake. That's where they have, I guess, where they used to produce the power plants are at. Now I think they're not using those power plants as much. I think they've gone to the windmills style, whatever. I would go and do a lot of catfishing and sometimes do kind of well, but I would use an extremely small treble hook. I'm talking about very, very small. An old man told me this trick. He says, get those little stink baits, the stink balls, and just cover the hook just a little bit, throw it out there. Oh, we can catch, 10, 15, 30, 20 channel catfish in a couple hours if they were active and moving. But yes, but nothing big, nothing. I think my biggest fish was a blue catfish, about 6 or 7 pounds, and I thought that was a monster.
There you go.
I did think, and it's funny because now if I catch a 5 or 6 or 7, 8 pound catfish, to me it's considered almost being skunked. I mean, I hate that my mentality is that way, but for the most part, DC has just got the fishery here is just it's outstanding. It would do way better in my opinion if the Maryland side, because okay, we have Virginia, you have DC, and you have Maryland. Maryland and Virginia hug the Potomac River. They encourage to destroy blue catfish on the Maryland side. They don't want blue catfish in their streams and rivers over there.
Michael Morello is asking who would like to run Al Stan's Facebook account.
There you go.
You're consistent, like Dana White has for the UFC, like somebody that follows him around and does his blog.
Uh-huh. This one's for Great Outdoors. What's the most interesting thing you've ever found while out on the lake?
On a hike.
On a hike, yeah. No,
On a hike.
I'll tell you something I found by accident that I about went to the bathroom in my pants one time. Was down in National Forest down in Louisiana. I was taking pictures of these really great fireflies and stuff, and I was in a really dense swampy area on a boardwalk that's probably just a foot and a half off the ground, and I was leaning over with my camera onto a tree and taking a picture of something, and I didn't realize until like out of the corner of my eye there was like a 3-foot gator, 3 to 4 foot gator looking at me, and I was just like looking up with my camera taking the picture, and then I looked down and I just slowly backed up, and I'm just like, those things can spring up and get you. And
oh yeah, they can go through at least half their body length.
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing I ever found on a hike. But I just go out there because I enjoy getting out. It's peaceful, it's calm, it's quiet, takes your mind off of everything. I would say my favorite place that I've ever been to hiking is around the Deadwood area in South Dakota. So it's
That's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's on the western side of South Dakota. It's in the Badlands, and then you kind of go into Deadwood. And like I was telling these guys before we started the show, that's like so often overlooked. And man, go out there and experience the Badlands, Theodore Roosevelt National Park. If you have a chance, get out to Devil's Tower, and if you really want to find something interesting to do, they actually have people that will help you mountain climb up the base of Devil's Tower.
This next one is for Chunky Cat. Why don't you use stink baits anymore?
Because I want to catch bigger fish. I want a fish that's at least 5 pounds or bigger. I think stink baits will work really, really well. But I remember some of the stink baits that I would use. I mean, they would get extremely potent, really, really bad, and get that smell out of your fingers. It took a couple of days. But this is before I knew about Windex. Windex, as soon as I'm done fishing, even now these days, I have a spray can of Windex. I put 2 times, and it's like the smell's almost gone.
Mike Chavez has good answer. But rubbing alcohol does the same thing.
Say that again?
Rubbing alcohol and Windex mixed together does the same thing.
Yeah. Try to find alcohol now.
Rubbing alcohol. Don't
Yeah,
you
but
get
try
out
to find it
Walgreens?
at the stores right now. You're not finding it at the stores.
No, you ain't gonna find any of that unless you have a stockpile in your house.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try what you're saying because I just get Home Depot. It's got that pressurized spray can that you just push down and it comes out. Works
Right.
pretty good. Yeah.
I just had a question in my mind. I just slipped.
Oh, I was gonna respond back to Great Outdoors, talking about he really enjoys it and loves hiking. I am the complete opposite of that. Let me tell you, I've even thought about making a video. What makes a professional catfisherman from the bank? And it would be kind of. I was going to try to be funny about it. It has nothing to do about rods and reels, fish line. It's about finding a good spot that you can park less than like 100 feet away. That's to me that's like golden. Most of my spots, I'm very very lucky that I can park and unload my stuff. Here's the thing: is that you got to remember I run 2 inverters. So I have a boat battery, inverter, the black lights, and all the rods, and then you have your camera equipment. But I just love to park really close. But going back to, you talked about hiking. Right next to not right next, but I'm going to say about an hour and a half drive, we have the Shenandoah Mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, it might be beautiful if you're like just watching from a distance, but hiking it, oh my goodness. My buddy took us out there because my wife is from Guatemala. And she says, nowhere around here is there a waterfall? My wife wants to see a waterfall. He says, I'll take you out there. And that's got to be one of the worst days of my life, is going down to the Shenandoah Mountains. It was about 4 years ago. And I kid you not, the heat index that day was over 100 degrees. It had to be about close to 110 degrees. And it was like the worst day to go out doing it. And I was like, I'll never do this. I'll never do it again. Never do it again.
Yeah, you got to be really careful. Yeah, when you go hiking. I don't hike in the middle of the summer.
And I remember when we started walking, because I was carrying Mason. Mason was about, I don't know, 6 or 7 months old, and I can feel my legs hurting because I was going downhill. It was hurting my and I was like, something's just not right. We were going on an incline, but I couldn't see Mason because I had him in the front carry. I'm holding him here in front, and my whole time I was going down, I was like, if it's hurting going down, can you imagine going up? Oh my goodness. The worst day of my life. Hiking it back up.
Okay. Oops.
Sorry for getting off the subject there.
No, I mean, what trail was it? It's the Rim to Rim Trail in the Grand Canyon. They have this sign that says, going down is an option.
You froze up.
Do it. Trump's check.
Yeah, you're freezing up.
Know what you guys gonna do with Trump's check when he sends it out to you?
Probably pay bills, unfortunately. I'd like to get some more fishing gear, but yeah, probably paying bills more than likely with it.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Great Outdoors. Do you hike alone or with a group or with a dog?
It really depends on the trail. If it's just like a 6 or 7 mile hike, I'll go by myself and just hike the trail. I'll bring a little bug out bag and everything. If it's a big, huge hike, and I'm talking like a 1 or 2 day hike, I will not go by myself. I'm very serious about safety stuff. One, because I have juvenile diabetes. So if something happens out there to me, I need somebody with me. But I make sure that if it's a big hike, I'm bringing the appropriate gear with me to, and I know that sometimes a guy was checking out my gear one time and he saw Coke in there and he thought I was crazy because they're going to get dehydrated with Coke in there. I said, I've got juvenile diabetes because if I get a low blood sugar, I need it. So I pack more than I need to with water, but I like using the 511 tactical bag because it's very comfortable, so I can put more of that that equipment on my body. But yeah, I mean, if it's just a little simple 5 to 6 hour hike, I'll go by myself and make sure I have the necessary supplies. So if something happens, like a low blood sugar, I got equipment and stuff on me to handle it. But if it's a big hike or somewhere I'm not familiar with, like I've never hiked the Appalachian Trail. If I were doing that, I wouldn't do it by myself. Oh, what did that sign say? So there's a sign. There's the hiking trail in southern Arizona. It's called the Rim to Rim Trail in the Grand Canyon, and it's very beautiful. And they've had people, and healthy people too, have problems when they go down there because they go down the hiking trail and then you get into what they call the oven. And as you go further down, it gets hotter into that trail. So they have a sign up there warning people that going down is an option, coming back up is mandatory. So it's just they're basically saying know your limitations.
Wow.
Agreed. You only do what you can do. Ozark thinks he's getting a new boat with the government check he's getting.
Getting a new boat.
Lisa says, Elstan, your rods are glowing.
Let me show you one more time.
Explain to her why they're glowing.
All right, let me see. All right. So these rods here are painted with fluorescent paint. These here, and it also has a high reflective tape, but it's also fluorescent. I am running 2 black lights. Those are black lights. In here, I have it's a rechargeable boat battery. Has an inverter, so these are 220 watts, and that's what it looks like.
Where's that one that's lined with a fishing line?
Okay. This one is wrapped with monofilament line. It has, let me see, I don't know how many twists and turns, but all this is wrapped. I guess you can't see it.
How long
You can see how it goes up here.
How long did it take you to wrap that one?
Kookie had to help me out with that one because it's not a 2-piece. But that's got to be one of my funnest rods. That's a Cascade Cat Tech. They stopped making them. I don't know why, but they're a little expensive. They were like at $90, and then towards the end they were asking like $110. Yeah, let me see if it kind of washes out too much.
Uh-huh. I like what Headhunter says about him.
Pretty.
What's that? Say that again?
Name it the Elston glow rod.
Headhunter says, pretty, I have to do that with my rods. Name it the Elstan Glow Rods mod.
There you go. I just love them because it helps when we're live fishing and everyone can see the rod go down. It's just a rush. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Felicia, he's gonna have to do a video and show you how to wrap it to make it glow.
I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but you know what? I have a really hard time recording myself and trying to explain myself. It's terrible. I mean, going live, it's just live. You are who you are, and you're not. It is what it is. But trying to explain myself, like I was thinking about, because yesterday I was doing these, and I was like, I need to record myself doing this. I'm like, nah.
Right.
But I'll do it one of these days. Maybe go live.
Go live and do it.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah, these are the ones. I'm not sure if we had more people. I can't find the camera.
Yeah, Tim Molina says the neighbors are like Chunky putting up the Christmas lights again. I never thought of that, Tim. He lives down here by me, but Tim, when this lets us out to go fishing, we need to hook up and go down to the Kaskaskia and hook you into a couple big blues.
So I'm gonna put these 3 rods back in action. These right here, the ones I just showed you, right here.
Right.
This one. These are Ugly Stick 7-foot rods. It's the GX2. It's a 1-piece. But if you want to see that rod in action before they were painted, you have to go check out my personal best video. It's the 52-pound blue catfish.
There you go, Elton. Elton, the procrastinator.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's why I won't show you inside my shed, because it's a mess. I've been saying for over a year I'm gonna clean that shed out, and I'm like, I don't do it.
Return to your life and ask your wife to ask questions.
Yeah.
You get some doozies in here.
You know what, Avid? I enjoyed your live stream yesterday. When it's just like the camaraderie between us. We were just answering each other, and then we really got off topic talking about trucks yesterday. But it was a good conversation. It was it was awesome.
That one was just to break up the monotony of us being locked up inside.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
I'm going to do another one like that throughout the week again.
I guess we all can't be on everyone's live stream or chatting with one another, but sometimes some live streams turn really good.
I just did that one to break up the monotony to get our heads out of what's going on around us.
No, I enjoyed it. Last night because I'm starting to go stir crazy.
I'm going to do another one off my phone again sometime this week. Won't be Saturday or Sunday because I have to work 12 hours Saturday and Sunday. So, plus tomorrow night, Headhunt is supposed to be going live. This one's for you from Catfish Headhunter. Great Outdoors.
I haven't been hiking to Kentucky yet. I have looked into the Great Smoky Mountains. There's a piece of the Appalachian Trail I'd like to hike, but yeah, so I think the Great Smokies is something I a lot of good hiking spots in Kentucky though that I've seen on YouTube, different guys doing that I've signed up for their channel. I mean, one of the areas I really want to get out to is Yellowstone National Park, but also the California Half Dome. But the problem is when you get those big popular areas, you need a permit to go up Half Dome, and you need to plan like 5-6 months ahead just to get a camping spot. So, yeah, I like the trails that are less hiked on. So, yeah, there's a lot of good hiking spots out in Kentucky. So I am thinking about going out that way.
All right, here's one for all three of us. What's your all's favorite season to fish?
You're thinking about it.
Actually, I'll take all 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Let me. So when I started doing YouTube, it was in the fall, and we were tearing it up in front of the Jefferson Memorial in the Tidal Basin. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget that fall season, but I haven't seen it that good ever since that. I think it's been about 4 years or maybe 3 years, 3 or 4 years back.
Well, I saw that one where you had caught like 95 pounds of fish, and a guy wanted it, and you gave him like 2 or 3, and then you were going to put that cat back into the water, and he's like, "I'll take that." And you're like, "Dude, you got like close to 100 pounds of fish. Do you really need that?" I'm like,
Yeah, that
Like
was
three meals.
yeah. I mean, I'll be straight up with people. You know, you're becoming greedy at that point. You know, you what are you gonna do with 100 pounds of fish? I can't remember how many pounds of fish it was.
Oh, it was a
But
lot. Yeah, I remember.
it was
that.
a lot. You know, he was keeping some of his own, some from another person, and some of mine. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That one's for you, Great Outdoors, from Justin.
I would answer that question. I'm kind of like Paul Meadow. I'm a weenie when it comes to the winter months and stuff like that. So I like to be fish. So it's probably spring and then summer up till about the July month, and then kind of the fall, and then it starts getting cold here in Kansas City. I go back indoors. I haven't never done Hatfield or McCoy Trail. Heard about it. Heard it's a pretty cool trail, but no, I've never hiked on it.
This one is for you, Chunky Cat, from Tim. Let me find it again. What kind of paint
Tim
do you use, and how long does it take to paint one rod?
Oh, I guess it would take about. Here's the thing: is when the weather's really, really hot in summertime, really, really hot, you could paint 3 rods. I would say in a full day, but it's not all day. You have to give it coats because the fluorescent paint it's more like a powder when it comes out, and if it's really, really hot, it sets up very, very quick. But like I said, it takes many, many coats. No, you know what? I'm gonna take that back because once you work on one color, you have to clear coat it. Let that dry, and then you can mask that off. No, it takes about 3 days. I'm sorry, I take that back. 3 days, because you have to mask off every color. The ones behind me have 3 colors, believe it or not. The ones
All right, this
they have
question
3
is
colors.
for Great Outdoors.
Let me pull one out.
What is your favorite barbecue restaurant there in Kansas City?
Slaps Barbecue. It's actually in Kansas City, Kansas.
That's when you painted.
Yeah, this one's a. Let me see. How can I? So this is one color here, one color. Then you have another
Okay.
color here. Then you have another one, the orange. So 3 colors: orange, green, yellow.
And back to green.
Yeah, back to green. Yeah, 3 colors.
Then you get the
It's got orange here. Man, I'm trying to find the cameras, and it's got the tape. And then where are we at? Yeah. So this is paint here. This is paint here. You can see how it's coming off.
right.
And
That's
then-
when we go into the pole holders and stuff like that.
and you can see the name
Right.
of the stick. Yeah.
That's where Marge's been sitting inside the rod holder.
Yeah. Yeah.
What reel is that?
This is the new one that, if you were live on YouTube, the one I sat on, I broke when I was doing this.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Parts were flying off.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
So I ordered 3, and who was
You
it?
sat on that one and broke it on your second
Yes,
video.
Hobo said to fix it, and I was like, no, I send it back, but it's gonna take over a month to come back in because they were out of stock.
Right.
So that's gonna be coming straight from China. I can imagine, but here's the thing: is that the peeing is not very loud. So I don't know if I'm gonna really like it or not. But the problem is that you only have 14 days to return it, and that's one of the reasons I'm really trying to go out to fish because I want to try this reel, see if I'm gonna like it or not. If I don't, I'll just return it back. But I guess by the time I go fish, it's gonna be too late.
Catfish Weekly will keep you in our thoughts and prayers.
Hey, Catfish Weekly's here, Mr. Lyle.
Yeah, he went to Lung Duck yesterday or today.
Well, I'm glad he stopped by. That's awesome.
He
Hey,
stops by every Friday night.
Good. Hey, who wants to see my boat?
Yeah, go ahead, show us your boat.
Well, I'm about to walk out there. I'm gonna take an extra light with me, see if I can get a decent picture. Let me turn the camera around. It's starting to rain again, guys.
I know, I see it.
You see it?
Uh-huh. It's like little missiles in front of the camera. You see it every so there goes another one.
You seeing the drops?
Uh-huh. come straight down.
There we go. There's the work van that's been really slow this winter. That hasn't moved very much.
Justin says tag the cookie and have him take off running.
There you go. So, guys, I do have a boat. This is it. And it didn't look like this. Let me explain. If you try to say, well, you know, I've never seen a boat like that. So this is a Grizzly Tracker, guys. I bought it from Bass Pro Shop, and it just comes plain green. So when we bought this, I bought it for a lake that it can only be electric. So we had an electric motor up there in front. And then I did upgrade it. I took it back to Bass Pro Shop, and I said, you know what? I want to be able to steer it. So I added this side console. They installed it for me. And that's it. That's that motor I was talking about. It's got less than 2-hour runtime on this motor.
That's a Mercury.
It's a Mercury. 9.9.
Yeah, that's a good motor.
So I painted this boat like 2 or 3 times, and the paint just doesn't want to stick to it. You can see where it's peeling off.
Yeah.
Here, that's the color it came.
Did you sand it down before you painted it?
You know what? A little bit. I didn't sand it properly, I'll be honest. And then I took it to my sign guy who did my signs on my truck here.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I wanted to, to put this tracker because it's a Grizzly tracker. But then he added this. This boat, guys, hasn't touched water in about 7 years. And I give you.
Michael Morello says tie the line to Cookie and tell him to take off running, and we'll hear that drag thing there.
Yeah. Cookie's up in that room playing video games. That's where he's at.
Yeah.
So it does have a canopy.
Nice looking boat.
But you can see how dirty it is. Look at all this mildew. And, a little bit of bleach and water would take that off.
Yeah, a good pressure washer to take care of that.
You can see what I named it. I named it Little Fish. That was before I caught big fish.
Michael Morello says sell it.
Well, I appreciate that. My plan was to take this boat out once this year. We'll see what happens. I just have a fear of the boat docks, the unload and load up.
Oh yeah, that's always the roughest part.
Yeah. Well, let's go back, sit down, and we can chat a little bit more.
So, Sean, while he's going back, what got you into fighting those northern pike and walleyes?
What got me into the pike and walleye fishing?
Mm-hmm.
Just growing up, originally I'm from North Dakota, and that's primarily what we fish. So I fished heavily out on Lake Sakakawea, which feeds the Missouri River, and then also Devil's Lake. I got a brother up there actually in Devil's Lake. So the primary fish up there are walleye and pike, and then I would say they do have a little bit of catfishing up there. But right now, Devil's Lake is just stocked with walleye. I mean, your limit is 5 a day, but they don't have a size on it. So, I mean, you can catch as big as walleye as you want, but you can only catch 5 of them. So that's kind of what I grew up with, a dad that fished walleye and pike.
Felicia, I will answer that question. How dangerous is noodling? If you don't get your hand and arm up to this part where his jaw is up to here, if you get it around your wrist and you're noodling for a big flat, a big blue, he'll break your wrist. So your idea is to get your hand into the gills of the cat where his mouth is up here in the forearm, and you're safe because you can't shut his mouth on it. But if you get it up around your wrist or up around this part of your hand, they'll break your hand or shatter your wrist. So, yes, noodling can be very dangerous.
I think to me, one with noodling that I don't like is sticking your hand in a big log or something and it ain't a catfish in there, but a water moccasin.
I stuck my hand in a hole once on a Canadian river. And I didn't pull out a flathead or a blue. I pulled out a gar. He just chomped down on me right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right across here. And he wouldn't let up. So I reached with my other hand and held his mouth shut until I got him out.
Yeah.
Took me and 3 guys to get his mouth open to get that gar off my arm. He never went back to the river though. We
Yeah.
had dinner that night.
Cathead hunters, yeah, snapping turtles.
That's one thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do noodling.
Yeah, I just no thanks.
That's one thing about snapping turtles. Snapping turtles will not go up in the hole. They'll bury themselves in the mud. But they have been known to bury themselves in the mud outside of a hole where a big catfish is laying.
Avid.
Yeah,
How many
like
people we
pike.
got
I will
here?
not stick my hand near a pike.
What, Elson?
How many people are watching?
Right now we're at 14.
14. I'm gonna sign off. But before we do that, let's have one more winner. I'll do one more. It won't, like I said, I don't have this spook, but I have other spooks. Let's give one more away.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a question for this one.
You can't win twice. So it's gotta be
No,
someone who has,
this has to be someone new. You can't win twice.
or someone who's won a big prize from me either.
Huh?
Or someone who's won a big prize from me if they're here.
Right.
You know what? Anyone, but except you can't win a double spook.
Okay.
We'll just call him a chunky dragon.
What is that?
We'll call them a chunky dragons.
Yeah, the chunky dragons.
Chunky dragons. Yeah, you can pick a question from Great Outdoors or yourself, whatever you want, or anything. However you want to do the giveaway.
Oh, all right. I've got a question. What was a rod that Great Outdoors covered in the live stream tonight? There were 2 rods.
I've been here. I couldn't even answer that.
I know them both.
I've been here.
Felicia, you have to know this one because you got one off your husband's site.
I think that's a pretty hard question.
Yeah.
No, it's an easy question.
The Ozark guy.
Okay, let's go through this different. Okay.
Why do we do this? Unless you think. Yesterday we got off the topic. We started talking about vehicles. Someone brought up that they drove a small car.
Yeah.
And we said, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And I said he was a smart one. It was a
Who
brand
on
new car.
last night's video said they drove a small car?
It was. We were talking about F-150s. It's not an F-150.
Oh yeah.
It's a plain, simple car.
Yeah. We'll do that one because a lot of people are done last night.
And I don't think it's a very expensive brand name, but that's in case they were yesterday on your live stream.
You ought to know the name of it. Headhunter.
I mean, there's only like 10 brands, so you just start typing names of brands of cars.
Is that the Nissan Sentra?
No. You don't. You just have to name the company, not even the specific car.
No. It's not the Nissan Sentra.
No, not the Nissan Sentra. I have a Nissan Sentra. I have
Maurice?
Was it the Kia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maurice got it.
Maurice got it.
we
Maurice?
were talking about these big trucks and horsepower and expensive, and someone said, "Well, I just drive a Kia." I was like, "There's nothing wrong with that." I mean, I said, "You're the smart one." So
Maurice got
Maurice,
it, so did Catfish Headhunters.
so I'll send one out to Maurice.
Maurice, you won that one.
So like I said, just be patient with me shipping this out. Like I said, I'm not going to the post office if I don't have to.
Maurice won that.
Yeah, they're using they're prioritizing the mail too right now.
Oh, are they
Right.
really?
Yeah, it's medical equipment and pharmaceutical stuff, and then
And a lot of your stuff that has to do with your home health care needs, like your cleaners, your bleaches, your sanitizers, and your food.
So it might be 2 or 3 weeks before I get to the post office.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna head out, guys. I thank you for having me on here, Mr. Avid, having me a guest on here. I greatly appreciate it. Had fun. Great
We'll do it
outdoors.
again,
was nice.
especially when you're in the river.
Yeah, I know. We'll do it again. We'll do it again next time I'm on the river.
I'm looking forward
Get a hold
to
of, Chunky Cats and get him your information. He'll get that out to you.
Yeah. So who are the 3 winners? Maurice,
Justin,
Murillo,
and Justin. Fishing
Justin. Yeah,
Fish.
Justin. Okay.
So the winners get a hold of Chunky Cats after the show sometime tonight. Get him your information, and he'll get him out to you. It'll probably be about a week or 2. So when you get a chance to get to the mud box and get him out.
All right, guys. I'm gonna give you one last look at my setup and.
I like that setup. It goes good with the backdrop too.
Yeah, it's just a regular. Let me show you. It's just a little wagon. Let me see here. Can't pull this. I drilled a hole here and used the butterfly nut there to hold these up in place on the wagon. Then I have my inverter battery. Then I have the rod holder here that holds these up, and it's worked really well. It worked awesome so far. So
You have a good night, Mike Chavez.
all right, guys, I really appreciate Mr. Avid having me a guest. Great outdoors.
Do it
It was
again.
nice meeting you. Y'all take care. I'll probably be on the chat later on.
All right.
All right,
Take care, everybody.
Take
Have
care,
a good
man.
night.
Take care.
Absolutely. Take care. See you later.
That's pretty cool so far.
Well, I like those rods he has. Those are some nice rods.
Yeah, but those take just the thing to wrap those things would take hours.
Oh yeah, it's like somebody, like putting together like those models and things. Like they get really detailed into model building and stuff like that. That takes a lot of time and a lot of patience to be able to.
But you have to have a special kind of glue because when they start coming up again, you have to put that special kind of glue on the back side of it and seal it down to get it to hold.
Yeah, that's a good setup. The wagon is
Do you have 2 windows open on your side?
on mine.
Yeah.
I have a window. Yeah, it says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. But that's below me.
Can you turn the volume down on that one? Because I'm getting a little bit of feedback on that one. Getting feedback from somewhere. I thought it was from my end. Whoops. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Let's see here.
There we go. Feedback's gone now.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Catfish Headhunter says, what do you use for those walleye? Actually, I was talking to Avid before we jumped on here. So for walleye and pike, it's a pretty simple setup, but this is what I use for walleye. They're called daredevils. And they're basically a spoon. They're just built differently. And in the middle, it's a little bit different from the spoon. It's just got a lighter or shallower inside. And these are Daredevils, and they're made by Eppinger Lure Company out of Wisconsin. But yeah, I just go into a cove, look for go in the coves and look for an area with a lot of weeds in it. And then for walleye, I use the gold color when it's bright outside, but if it's overcast, I'll use like silver, and I'll use the ones with the little speckles on them. But I'll use these for trolling, and all I'll simply do is put this lead weight on there about a foot and a half away from the yeah, they love these things.
Have you ever used
That's
a
fishing with these Daredevils.
Have you ever tried the 5-inch grubs for walleye and pike?
No, I haven't.
Because I know up here they kill them.
Yeah. That's all we grew up with, was just those Daredevils, using those. I mean, there's different types. I mean, they have some with colors in the middle of it. You just basically, the Daredevil you would use, you just judge based on the brightness outside, or if it's overcast, you just use a different color.
Yeah, headhunter, you can use those spoons on those rigs that Great Outdoors showed you, and you can go get the 5-inch grubs about like that long, that's white with a curl tail on it, with a 1/4 ounce or 1/2 ounce jig head, and those things will eat them.
Oh yeah, walleye's a good fish to eat too. I like the taste of them.
What are you talking about, Ozark? About, did you know you could set up to accept donations? You lost me on that one. Okay, questions. What are your PB walleye and PB pike?
Well, walleye, that's a little bit hard to say. I mean, when I do walleye fishing, I go from anywhere from 3 to 6 pounders. Those are the only ones I keep, just because they're an eating fish. But when I fish for pike, I try to fish kind of like, the big ones. So as far as personal best, I would say probably it was between 30 and 35 pounds. It's a good size pike. Of course, I can't. I mean, I think I sent you a picture of that, Avid. The 2 pike on the wall of my dad's bar.
You might have to resend it because I don't know what I did with it.
We have walleye here, but are called Xander over here. The UK record is only 18 pounds.
Well, see, pike, walleye here in the States, they get up to past 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And the pike, they get up to 50, 60 pounds, along with the muskies. The muskies and tiger muskies, they can break 100 easy.
I'd say the biggest lake trout I've caught was 25 pounds up in Minnesota, but we were just trolling, snagged up. So we started backing the boat up, and it was probably 5 feet from the surface, and then all of a sudden it started fighting, but I just thought I was snagged on a log. So they're pretty good eating too, the lake trout, but I'd say my favorite fish to eat by far is walleye. Pike are a good fish to eat, but you just have to know how to clean them, because if you don't clean them right, you're going to be eating a lot of bones.
That's where you have to play them.
Yeah.
Dave Booth says UK pike record is 48 pounds.
What was that?
United Kingdom pike record is 48 pounds. I'll be right back.
That's a pretty big pike.
Yeah, it is.
They don't get as big as catfish, but I mean they're a big fish, but not like some of those cats get. Yeah, I say for pike fishing, my favorite place is probably up around the Canadian-Minnesota border. The Boundary Water is a good area to fish, and then Lake of the Woods. So you can either fish the U.S. side or the Canadian side. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite places to fish. Is right up there along the Canadian-Minnesota border, or Lake Sakakawea or Devil's Lake in North Dakota for walleye and pike. Yeah, 48 pounds. That's a big pike, man.
Yeah, it is. That's a hell of a fight.
And one thing I'll never do is I just, even taking pictures and stuff with pike, I will never put my hand under the pike's mouth, because I've seen those things turn and hit people right in the hand.
I won't even put my hand in his mouth or in his gills.
Yeah, I mean, they got like razor sharp teeth.
Justin Fishing Fetish asks, have you ever fished Lake Erie?
I haven't. I've fished Lake Superior. I got a cousin that lives up there in Duluth, Minnesota. So I'll go up there on occasion. I haven't been up there in quite some time, but he likes fishing pike, but he also likes getting out in the middle of Lake Superior and fishing for lake trout. That's kind of his big thing.
Michael Morello, if a pike ever hit your rod, you'd know it.
Yeah.
That'd be like an explosion on the end of your line. Because he'd hit that thing hard and fast, and he would not let up.
Yeah, and I say when it hits it, it's like the middle of your rod immediately just bends.
Yeah, just buckles. Just goes, do the buckle wave real quick right in the middle.
Yeah, and when they hit, if they keep pulling and pulling down, I mean, you got to give them some slack or they'll break that line.
Oh yeah, you have to have your drag set.
Yeah.
That's one thing I keep saying in my videos. No matter the fish species you're going after, whether it be bluegills, crappie, bass, whatever, have your drag set. If you don't, a fish can break it. Because all they have to do is rub against rocks, trees, branches, whatever under that water. And it will break. Especially if you get something over 20 pounds on that line.
Yeah, I usually, when I'm going for pike, I at least at a minimum, I put 20-pound test on. The hardest, though, is keeping them out of the weeds. So once you get them, you want to pull them out of that weed bank as quickly as you can so they don't go rolling around in it.
Tim wants to know if you're from Minnesota.
Now, I'm originally from North Dakota, but yeah, I got family up in North Dakota and then also in Minnesota, but I grew up primarily here in the state of Missouri. So early childhood up in North Dakota, went back up there for a while, about 4 or 5 years. And then I went down to New Orleans for 10 years, and I've been back in the Kansas City area for about close to a year and a half now.
Ozark, there's one simple trick you can use to catch gar. And I will do a video on how to do it without a hook. I want to do a video on how you can catch gar without a hook. And it's with maybe that long of rope, 8 to 10 inches of rope. And it's simple. And it's fun. Those gar will hit that rope. It's a nylon rope that comes braided. All you do is make a loop on one end, take a couple of zip ties and zip tie that loop real tight. And you go down about maybe 3/4 of an inch, put another zip tie there, and below that zip tie, all you do is unwork all those braids. Keep taking those braids out of that nylon rope. Once you get them all out, you brush it out with a comb or brush. And you tie that loop to your rod, and maybe a foot up from the loop, you tie a swivel with your flag sinker on it. You cast it out there where you see gar, and just work it like a lure. Just twitch it every so often. And those gar will hit it. But when they hit it, you don't set the hook right off the bat. You let them roll with it, twist on it, and get it in those teeth. And I tell you what, you're on for a fight. Especially with 15, 20-pound braid. But that's a good fight.
Would love to catch a muskie. If this virus gets gone, I will come over to catch one. It's on my bucket list. I've never done any muskie fishing. I've heard the muskies get pretty big.
There's 2 locations over here that have good muskies. One's maybe 5 minutes from the Kaskaskia River. Another one maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours from the Kaskaskia River on Lake Kincaid. And they have a record muskie caught out there, 50 pounds.
That's a big muskie.
I'm going to be doing, as soon as this COVID-19 breaks up, the meet and greet will be back on. Because right now, all the rivers are shut and locked down. The campgrounds are shut. So there's nowhere to hold a meet and greet right now until they release the stay-at-home effect. So as soon as that's lifted, I will repost the date for the meet and greet.
Yeah, what states and municipalities are basically doing, even if it's a campground, the state or the government, given that 10-person rule, those guys have to have permits and everything for their RV park. So that's how they impose that.
Exactly. I understand what you're talking about there. Well, if you do that rope, nylon rope, quick Ozark, and the way I just described on how to do it, you'll catch all them gar. I've caught them before, and you have nylon rope too, and it's fun. I'm trying to figure out where I'm getting this feedback from. Okay, I'm still getting it. People here in Joplin aren't following the social distancing. They think it's all a joke, especially the mayor.
Yeah, that ain't good. And they had somebody in Jasper County that was, I don't know if he was a student or somebody traveling through from another country that had COVID, but it's some bad stuff, man. I mean, it's not like the flu. It's a full-grown virus.
It's a virus that's so tiny and invisible, you don't even know you got it.
Yeah, and it's constantly, mutating into something else. I think now the latest one is, they said coughing, like a dry coughs, and different respiratory system. But now they're talking about the more data they're getting in, it's going to gastral symptoms like diarrhea as a first indicator. That's some bad stuff.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, Dave Booth, angler. We got some of our United States senators that self-quarantined.
Yeah, self-quarantine. Felicia says she's kept her family quarantined because my daughter is a high risk and has asthma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I haven't been going out that much either because I go out only when I have to. Like, I think I've been out once the last 2 days, and that was because I was just starving. So if I go to the grocery store, I go at 6 a.m. when it's first opening and nobody's in there.
Hey, Palmetto, welcome.
Palmetto Cats.
Palmetto, you just missed Chunky Cat.
Yeah, I think when this COVID stuff winds down, my brother wants me to go back up there for a week and probably do some fishing in Devil's Lake or up along the Canadian border.
If you do, bring me back a couple northern pikes.
Oh yeah, because the limit is 5 pike and 5 walleye, but Devil's Lake has been so overstocked the last 3 years. Like I said, because most places have like a size limit. Like you're allowed, like I think in the state of Minnesota, you can catch 6, but you can only have 1 walleye over 15 inches. Devil's Lake, it's like they really don't care. I mean, it's just you're not allowed to go over 5, but they don't really take the length or anything like that into consideration.
Yeah, I'd take a couple pike and a couple walleye.
Yeah.
Because down here, down below Colorado Dome at the Swinging Bridge, it's overfished for walleye. You're lucky to get one 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Because walleye runs there, we see boats almost 2-3 feet apart trying to troll for them.
Be right back. I gotta grab something.
All right. You making bullets, huh, Tim? Trust me, I'm fixing to do that when this COVID-19 thing lifts. Oh, I know Owen won't shut down. That's a steel plant. You caught 5 fish in 2 days? That's awesome. Damn, all under 10 pounds, huh? At least you got a lot of meters.
Oh.
Palmetto, think of it. You caught dinner.
Oh, I found out that the guy that sells the ripper tail fishing lures or the snagless. What are they? Losing my mind here.
Michael Morello, I don't need no more fishing gear. I got enough to probably do enough beginner fishermen, especially kids. Judge, you gonna sink the boat, Palmetto, huh?
Got a bunch of wind and water today.
Yeah, I found Meadow caught 5 catfish in 2 days. And they were all under 10 pounds. All right, Dave. Thank you. I'll see you. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
Oh, the ripper-tailed jigs. The guy actually lives here in the Kansas City area.
Really?
Those, yeah. He lives in Oak Grove. So we got him. You know, the thing is, if you order them online, you're paying for the shipping too.
Right.
So if you're going to buy them, you might as well buy them in bulk. But that's what I did with those brush pile jigs, and I haven't gotten any snags or anything. You know, with those brush pile jigs, and then those.
Yeah, the weedless jig.
Yeah, that weedless jig thing he came out with. I haven't found those at the stores at the lakes here, but there's some guy that really likes them. So every time I go in there, the guy that runs that marina tells me the guy comes in as soon as he sticks those out on the shelf and cleans them out.
I'm gonna. Matter of fact, I think I got his card here somewhere on the table. No, I don't. I got all these cards from the Take Me Fishing program because I'm gonna put a lot of addresses up on the new page.
Well, that's where I got the idea to buy those jigs from Brush Pile was when you had that show.
Right.
There's some nice jigs. I mean, I think that's Wyatt's Magic Blue.
Uh-huh.
And then you went and bought those minis, though. That's what you bought, a bunch of the
Yeah, from the brush pile.
jigs. Yeah, from Brush Pile.
Those brush pile jigs, I've been using them things. Those things are dynamite. They look like, in the water, they look like little tiny fish fry.
Yeah.
And those fish are just demolishing. I mean, you get a good 8, 10, 11-inch bluegill hitting them jigs. Even small bluegills trying to eat them.
I'm into some really weedy area, so I just put it out there, and they really seem to like this one. It's that
Which
pink and
one's
white
that?
color.
Yeah, that one's good.
I can't
I love
remember.
that one.
Yeah, it's got that pink and the white on there.
Yeah.
I was getting some hits on that.
Somehow I'm getting an echo off your end. I don't know how.
Let me try it again here.
Yeah, thankfully your bilge pump was working, Palmetto. Your bilge pump wasn't working, you'd have been swimming, dog paddling to shore.
Yeah, I think I got some lag here on my computer.
You got some lag?
Yeah.
Actually, right now there's no feedback coming from your end now. Yeah, we'll do that.
Go check out my Facebook post.
Yeah, he had whitecaps coming over the back of his boat
Oh, really?
when he was fishing. Yeah, you better check with your wife first before you go get the Ozark. So, what is your goals this year for your Facebook page or YouTube page?
Well, like I was telling hiking stuff that I'd done in the past. So just getting a GoPro and getting out on some of the trails and getting people acquainted with some of the other state parks and different things out there. And COVID really messed all of this up. I was actually going to start taking some vacation time and start hitting up some of these trails and going out and about and recording them and actually getting them onto the YouTube page. So that's why I created that Facebook page, because a lot of the things I had were just pictures, but no video. So that's kind of the goal, is to probably hit up 4 or 5 parks this year. I'll probably start off in Arkansas, down in Devil's Den, and then Buffalo River State Park. Maybe make a trip out to the Badlands. And then next year, what I want to do is hit up Devil's Tower in Wyoming, and then also go down to Arizona. There's a lot of hiking trails down there. So, like I said, on my YouTube channel, I'm doing a little bit of everything.
Would you ever do a video on your pack and what you take and so forth on a hike versus a 3-day camping hike?
Yeah, and it's like I said earlier, when I go out, if it's 2 or 3 days, what I would do is take 2 or 3 people with me. So it's not only what I pack to hike, but it's what other people with you pack as well. So if somebody's responsible for the food, basically the biggest thing is distributing the weight of your gear equally among 3 people. So you don't have one person with a 75-pound pack on and then somebody else has 25 pounds. So, yeah, but I think the biggest thing for being outdoors and camping and hiking is having a Stop the Bleed kit is one of them. I know they have a lot of cheaper things that you can pick up at Walmart and stuff like that, just little basic first aid kits. But if you're out hiking and doing those things, the biggest thing I tell people is to make sure you have a SAM splint. That way, because that's the biggest thing that happens. Somebody twists or breaks their ankle. You know, that's the number one injury out there.
You need a way to do a split and all that.
Yeah.
Campus Headhunter wants to know if you have a bug out vehicle.
I just use my regular car, but yeah, I have what I call a to-go bag or a go bag, and it's a 72-hour push pack by 511 Tactical.
Harris says he's got to go play with a wife. Video games, that is. We know better than that.
Actually, let me grab it.
Justin, he has some good ideas for packs.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the basic setup here, and it's kind of hard to see, but so this is their 72-hour push pack.
Right.
And then the pack on the straps, you have the ability to go in and add things, and I'm kind of in the dark here, but they have the ability to add other packs on here. You just tie it into this webbing and it clips on. But it's actually a really good setup. And then within the side of the bag, they have different zippers and things like that you can add stuff. And then what I tell people is if you're going out on a long hike, you can even do something cool like go out and get a Molly, like on your front end.
Right.
Instead of putting magazines in it for a gun, you just put different things in there that you would use.
Right.
Like water bottles and things like that.
Yeah, your tactical vest that has your clip pockets in there.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Those vests that has those big long slits for your clips.
Uh, it's not a tactical vest, but it's more of a molly. Yeah.
Right.
It's got like 3 30-round magazine holders on it.
Right.
You could use some of those. They also have like 511 tactical, make the little 24-hour push pack for basic supplies that slings down to the side of your waist.
Mm-hmm.
What's your choice of weapon for a bug out?
I mean, his choice of weapon may not be my choice of weapon, but we'll find out.
I would say the one that you could shoot, the one you're most accurate with, the gun you have. I used to get a lot of Heckler and Koch guns, but I tell you what, I think my favorite brand of gun or company is Springfield Armory.
I have a Springfield Armory 44, 357, and the 50.
Yeah.
And the one I'd use the most would be the 44 because that's one I'm the most dead accurate with.
Yeah.
44 mag with a 12-inch barrel, semi-auto, and that's just open sights. And I'd punch holes through anything I'd hit with it. Then again, I'm a big guy, so 44 mag just ain't much for me.
Yeah, I
For most people, I'd say a 9mm.
yeah, 9mm. I have a lot of 9mm. They're a good gun. They don't have a lot of kick, and I mean, vast majority of them now have like 15 or 16 round magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty common, and the only thing I tell people is don't get stuck on a brand name when purchasing something. And
take it out and test fire it.
Yeah, try to stay away from gun shows buying. So go to a gun store that has a gun range, and a lot of times some of those gun stores will let you rent a gun for like 30 minutes to an hour and actually see if you're good with it.
Because I'm good with anything from a 38 all the way up to a 50 in a handgun.
Yeah.
And
I bought a little 38 Special Plus P from Smith & Wesson, and it's Smith & Wesson, and I like Smith & Wesson, but I just don't like that gun, that little snub nose revolver, because the trigger's so tight. It's just.
See, my big hands with that little 38, no. That's the only reason why I don't like it.
You'd be jerking the trigger. It would be down and left all of your shots.
That's the only reason why I don't like the 38, because my big hands and that little revolver, I can bury that revolver in my hand.
Yeah. I prefer a 9mm.
45 long Colts are good with a 7.5-inch barrel. There's no kick on the 45. The 22 is more of a varmint rifle. 22 and the 22 rifle are both a varmint. For varmints. For killing basically coyotes, gophers, groundhogs. Maybe survival if you're lucky. If I wanted the survival rifle, I'd do a 22 250.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to learn about guns, go over to the YouTube channel of the guy from Kentucky. His name is Hickok45.
Oh, yeah. I know quite a bit about rifles and handguns because I had quite a collection of them before I moved here.
That guy does so many reviews that Bud's Gun Shop to do a review on his YouTube site, and then they give them free ammunition.
Well, hitting the penny at 100 yards is easy. But try taking the penny out to 250 yards with a 22 long rifle and try to hit the open sights. Because those 22s have a range of a mile. Open sights.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't know. Those 22 rifles, whether the long rifle or a handgun, they have an open sight range of a mile and they're dead accurate. And a lot of people don't even try to shoot a mile with it. That's what gets me is because those bullets are so light, they don't have much of a drop until after a mile. Then they start dropping. Because
Yeah, the only problem I have around here with rifles is unless you know somebody that has a farm, there's very limited places you can go shooting.
right, exactly,
Or if you have your own land.
exactly.
Best thing for home defense catfish head hunters, I would say, is
9
go to the
millimeter.
store and get you a tactical shotgun.
9 millimeter or 380. Both of them are good home defense weapons.
Because the thing is, with the shotgun, if you're using buckshot and you're in a hallway, you're not going to miss.
No,
You don't have to be accurate.
but he's also looking for something that he can pack. That's what I'm saying. The 380 or 9 millimeter, they're both easy to pack and easy to clean, and they're dead accurate.
Yeah, the one thing I bought one of those Smith and Wesson. What's the name of that gun? I sold it after about 7 months. It was a little Smith and Wesson 9 millimeter shield.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's just, if you're doing 20 feet out, it's really not that accurate. So I just tell people, even carry conceal, get yourself something that's comfortable, and you don't have to worry about those little shield guns. I mean, they make holsters now that fit about anything.
that tactical shield handgun I seen at gun shop had a gun range. He let me take it out to the gun range and try it at 3 different ranges. After 4 shots in each range, I took the gun back and said, "You could have it. You can keep it. It's not worth it. I don't want it."
Yeah.
Because the sights on that and the rifling and the sights were so far off, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
You had to actually barrel sight. If you know anything about what I'm saying about barrel shooting it,
Yep.
to hit the target. Not using the sights, just putting your eye down the side of that barrel and lining it up with the target to hit it.
Yeah.
That's how far off the sights were. Because if you tried to use the sights, it'd go over and up to about 1 o'clock position, almost off the paper. But when you did the barrel shot, it was right on target. That's just strange.
Yeah, catfish head hunters. I'm not a brand loyal guy either. I mean, when I first started getting into guns, Heckler and Koch, Heckler and Koch, Heckler and Koch, and beautiful guns. H&K makes great guns, but I just wasn't accurate with them. I had a VP 9 millimeter, but I'll take my Springfield Armory XDS over that H&K VP 9 millimeter any day of the week. I just like going out and sport shooting.
Yeah, this 380 Tauruses are good. But I got a 9 millimeter and a 380. that I'm looking at to buy for concealed carry.
Yeah.
And the 9mm is perfect because it has a 6-inch barrel and it's perfectly for my hand and fits me just right. And I'm gonna think about getting that one because I can get that one at a good deal.
Well, that's what I like about Taurus is because they're not like overly priced weapons.
No, the
You know,
Taurus
anybody
9mm,
can afford one.
Taurus 9mm fully matted black. It's not chrome, which I don't like chrome anyway.
Right.
Anybody that likes chrome and pulls that out just so the sun glares on it, paints a target on you,
Yeah.
especially in survival situations. You don't want the chrome handgun. I'll take a matted black one any day of the week.
Well, I tell people this too: if you're carrying something for self-defense, make sure you go out and get you some night sights, because the vast majority of shootings happen at night.
Right. All my handguns have night sights on them.
Yeah.
Because I took them into gunsmith, and had the old sights taken off and put night sights on them.
Yeah, you can just take it down to the gun store, and any gun store, well, the vast majority of gun stores will put those night sights on for you.
Yeah, but I know a lot of gun stores that do it, but if they don't barrel sight them when they put them in there, it won't be on accurately.
Oh, really?
I've had that done twice, and I've tried bore sighted it with the thing I have, and they were off, so I had to take it back to a friend of mine that was a gunsmith and had him redo it.
Yeah. I had to have some night sights. That's the one thing I have against Glock. I had a Glock 19 9mm, and I just did not like the sights on that thing, so I took it to the gun shop and had them put some night sights on it for me and get a new setup as far as my sighting system goes. I just don't like that square and the two white dots. It's not good sights.
Okay, I'm going to get us a little bit back on topic. First aid kit. What would you take for a camping trip or hiking trip in a first aid kit or a fishing trip?
So what I would recommend doing as far as first aid is you can go on Google and type in "Stop the Bleed," and they have "Stop the Bleed" kits out there that are actually pretty popular right now. That you can pick up a "Stop the Bleed" kit for $65, and it includes a tourniquet. What I will tell people is, do not buy first aid supplies and tourniquets off of eBay because you never know what you're going to get. I would say a good store to go to, just my personal preference, is North American Rescue, because that's what first responder organizations use, and that's what they go to. And a good tourniquet like a Gen 7 will cost you $28 to $32, but if something happens to you, you want something that's going to save your life. But check it out on Google. Just type in "Stop the Bleed" kits. You'll see a lot of it. So see if North American Rescue has one of those. But that's what I would use it. Just bring a "Stop the Bleed" kit because they have combat gauze, and those really help with absorbing blood. And not only do they help with absorbing blood, they have a quick clot gel in there that stops the bleeding, which, and the older you get, the more thin your blood becomes.
Right.
So, and the other thing is when you're wound packing with those combat gauzes, there's a strip in that cloth, and what that strip is actually for the emergency room. So when they take you in there, if they do an X-ray, it shows you how far down the wound is.
So that strip actually helps the X-ray to see the depth of the wound.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Now, what would be your advice for someone that's just beginning on hiking?
So that's kind of a tough question because you can go and to a lot of these urban prepper stores, and it's the same as fishing. You're buying things sometimes that you don't know what it is you're buying, and it can get expensive. So what I recommend you do is if there's like a survival school or something in your area where somebody teaches basic hiking stuff, go take a outdoor survival class and things that you don't traditionally use, like if you don't have matches or things on you, learn how to start a fire without any matches. But I would say just go to the store, try on some bags, put some things in those bags, and see if it's comfortable for you. I like I said, the 511 tactical bags, but there's a lot of stuff out there, kind of like fish, and you can go and buy stuff, and it's the wrong type of stuff. And I'll tell you, the biggest mistake I made was going out and getting hiking boots, and I didn't know what it was I was buying, and I just did a day hike, and my toenails were black for probably about 3 weeks because it was the wrong size boot that I had on.
Right.
And ever since then, all I wear for hiking is just some basic tennis shoes that are the cross trainer shoes. I will never wear hiking boots again.
Elston's back. He's in chat.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they'll try to sell you as far as hiking. But I will say this, the things you have to have is a first aid kit. I always have some matches. I always bring like a small tent or a one-person tent in case you get stranded, because that's the biggest thing is food and shelter. But make sure you bring plenty of water with you, and have a splint, because that's the number one problem people run into is twisting an ankle or breaking their ankle.
Internal frames or external frame backpacks? What's your thoughts?
The one I really don't have a preference. I go by what I see in reviews, and to me, I think 511 Tactical. Yeah, it's an expensive bag, but for me, it works, and it's a comfortable bag, and I know it's high quality stuff, so that's what I go with. It's just go with what you know.
Headhunter agree. I agree with you. He should do a video on this, on his backpacks and stuff like that. You got a lot of information there.
Let me show you the combat gauze, what I'm talking about.
Okay. Welcome back, Chunky. Michael, quit feeding her beans.
Now, I will say this, when you buy these types of gauze, got that Quick Clot in there.
Yeah,
They
the combat
do
guys.
They have an expiration date on the back. So, for what it is, and I'll just open this one up. This is basically for wound packing. So if you get like a big, deep cut, what I see people do is they kind of just push it in there a little bit. It's
Right.
going to hurt. So you push it in there. The first is you apply pressure, and if that doesn't work, then you go to the actual wound packing. But this has
Right.
Quick Clot material in there, and if you see that blue line,
Right.
that's what the X-ray machine picks up.
Yeah, it shows the depth of the wound.
Yeah, so what I would do is if you have like a big open wound, is you take like a big chunk at a time. Let's say this is the hole of the wound.
Right.
You start packing it in
Packing it
there,
in there.
pushing it down. Yep.
Now, would you use it to wrap the wound too after you got it packed in there?
So yeah, what you want to do is first apply pressure. If that doesn't work, And I mean, it's an open wound, like something that's a hole that you see
Right.
just continuously bleeding.
Right, like either a bullet hole or a knife wound or something like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, even when you pack it, you just want to make sure you take pressure and don't, if you're calling a first responder organization, just keep the pressure on and let the, EMS or fire, when they get there, then you can let them take over.
Right.
One of the things I will caution people about is there are products out there like gels and things that they sell to stop bleeding. Do not put those on yourself or anybody else, because once you get to the emergency room, they will have to clean that wound in order to do what it is they need to do. And it's some serious scraping getting that stuff out.
Yeah, there's more pain and agony than what it's worth.
Yeah, so you just want to stuff that wound. And so I recommend to people go and take a class in your area. Go on to stopthebleed.org and see if there's somebody teaching it in your area. I know a lot of hospitals and trauma coordinators teach in it, and it's just basic principles. No, you don't need to be an EMT. You don't need to be a firefighter. It's just a simple class on bleed control.
Yeah, I was trained a few years ago in first aid.
Yeah.
But I'm just getting some more tips from you, because I've learned that ladies' personals for the monthlies work really good for stopping bleeds too, like their pads and their Kotex sticks, which was also good for sticking in bullet hole wounds to help alleviate the bleeding.
Yeah, so the quick clot also helps coagulate the blood.
Right.
So not only is it absorbing it, it's helping the materials that are in there, helping it hard so it doesn't keep bleeding.
What type of tent would you suggest for a beginner to use on a hike?
If you're by yourself and you have to lug that a long distance, you want something that's lightweight. I'm not really a brand guy myself, but if it's something like where you're just setting up something for a basic backpacking trip and you have some people with you, I would recommend that. I think one of the best tents out there is Spring Bar. And I know if you go over to Gunslinger's YouTube channel, he has a bunch of reviews on Spring Bar tents. They're made here in the United States, and they're made old-fashioned. People are doing them with their hands. But Spring Bar is a good tent.
This next question is from Norman.
We got a super glue, okay, on small D. Absolutely, yeah. The Gorilla Glue works best. I would say this though, you see the little splint things when people get cuts and stuff.
Right.
To use kind of like to cinch the wound closed.
Right.
I would just recommend that if it's like you get something in there and it's not like a serious trauma incident, let the blood kind of push whatever's in there out before you cinch it closed.
Yeah, use one of those butterfly Band-Aids.
Yeah, the butterfly Band-Aids. So I've seen people put them on immediately and then they get like some type of bacterial infection or because they got something in with the cut and your body's trying to reject it and push it out. If they put that butterfly Band-Aid on there and cinched it closed. Okay, cool. What I thought. Yeah, Gorilla Glue works great.
Yeah, Gorilla Glue works great for a lot of stuff. You even, I did get even with someone today at work. He set down a bottle of Gorilla Glue right on top of a heater in the back of a van.
Yeah.
He couldn't get out of the seat after 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's like anything else. You learn from it. I mean, I've seen other guys do reviews on hiking and stuff like that, and big mistake is people taking too much equipment with them on these big long hikes if they're by themselves, because after a while you get that 50 or 75-pound gear on your back, and you're doing a 20 or 30-mile hike in the middle of the summer. You're going to start throwing that stuff out of your bag to lighten the load.
Okay, you as a solo hiker doing, say, a 200-mile hike, what would you take and not take?
So what I recommend for that is I would never do a hike like that by myself, but
No,
if I did do it hypothetically, always take one, you want to travel light, but make sure that you're taking things that you need, like, for example, food, that's carbohydrates, because you're going to need a lot of carbohydrates.
Right.
People say bring protein bars and things like that, but you know, the big thing is carbohydrates, because you're burning a lot of calories on a hike that length. And then I would say bring a one-person tent, a lightweight tent. Make sure that you have some rain gear on you, and you always bring an extra set of clothes in case you get wet. That way you can dry off. One-person tent. Yeah, a lot of water, a lot of fluids. I would also bring some little plastic bags with you. Of course, never eat where you sleep.
Right.
Unless you want to attract bears. So, I mean, get rid of like any open food. I would not recommend you put that in your bag. But yeah, so the big one is, like I said, food, water, and shelter, but extra clothing. That's
What do you think of these freeze-dried packed meals that like Ozark Trail makes that you'd get out of Walmart?
Yeah, I mean, you can use them. So, like, for example, when I was doing emergency management in Louisiana, there were people that go and buy MREs.
Right.
You know, and people don't realize MREs were built for soldiers,
Right.
for the military personnel, because they're loaded with sodium. And that sodium, there's so much sodium in there, it really makes you not want to eat anymore to hike around a battlefield. But I see people doing MREs and doing YouTube stuff, like testing how good an MRE tastes. It's not really designed to taste good. It's designed for a battlefield situation.
Right. It's designed for a battlefield situation with a high carb intake.
Yeah.
That's what MREs are for. They're not made to taste good.
Yeah, but I would recommend, if you're going hiking, you want carbohydrates in you and a little bit of protein. So bring, like those Slim Jims and things like that. But the carbs are the big thing.
There's one thing I've learned about MREs. They're good for a high carb intake with chocolate, and cocoa is a high energy input, and coffee, which is another energy booster.
So somebody tonight, when I was bringing up hiking, said they had diabetes as well. But so I have a monitor that's always with me that tells me what my blood sugar is.
Right.
And then it tells me when it's going low. I don't have it hooked up to my body right now, because the morning, if I run out of insulin, so I still have syringes. But this basically is a lifesaver here, because it'll tell me when my blood sugar starts to go low and I need to eat something. So
does it have like an alarm on it or something?
Yeah, it has an alarm on it. It's a Medtronic pump.
Okay.
So it tells you how much insulin to take, and it'll cut off your insulin. If it starts to notice that you're going low, it'll stop feeding you that insulin. And it'll tell you, hey, you need to eat something, or test your blood sugar to make. It's a pretty good machine.
if you knew someone that was starting out as a hiker that had the same condition as you, what would your advice be to them?
My advice would be to start with small that are not strenuous. And like I said, I would, a 3 to 5 mile hike somewhere in a little state park, not very strenuous, like going up and down hills. And if you have diabetes, make sure that you have some Coke with you. You bring your blood sugar monitoring kit, seeing your blood sugar while you're out, and make sure you're not having a low blood sugar before you go. But simple and small, and that's basically for anybody that's getting into hiking. So you have to know your limitations. So, I wouldn't go out and hike some big gorge, on your first attempt where there's 300 or 400 foot inclines. And then, make sure you're taking enough, just enough to go hiking during the day.
Now, would you suggest that they have some kind of bracelet, like a medical alert bracelet on their wrist?
So if you have diabetes, have like a bracelet on your arm, have something in your wallet, something that tells somebody that you have a medical condition and not just diabetes. Because if somebody finds you on a hiking trail and they call the first responders and police, fire, EMS show up, what type of medical condition you have. So when they take you to the hospital, the doctor knows what it is that you have in addition to, so you could pass out from like a heat stroke.
Right.
So if they found me on a trail and they said, hey, it's the middle of the summer, this guy has a heat stroke, they take me to the hospital and they're like, yeah, he has a heat stroke. And they start running tests. They're going to be like, why is this guy's blood sugar like 500? They'll figure it out pretty quick, and they'll ask you, do you have diabetes? But yeah, you want that basic information. Or if you have a heart condition, you need medication, they want to know that.
Mm-hmm. That's even good advice for bank fishermen or people fishing, is to have those medical alerts on you if you do have a medical condition. Because if you do pass out and they find you, they already have that information preset.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a group.
Yeah, like the first responder. So for me, if they see this, it goes right on my belt line like a pager.
Right.
Those firefighters and those EMS guys will know right away because they'll see it connected to my body. They're, hey, this guy has an insulin pump.
Right. That's why I thought I'd bring that one up.
Yeah.
Well,
and I don't recommend you go hiking in the dead of summer if you're not used to it.
No.
Try the spring, early months, and then the fall. And I know guys that are, really into hiking, and they still won't do it in the middle of the summer. It's just not worth it. Getting yourself into some trouble.
Mike Umbrella says, here's what Mike Umbrella just posted. And that's a compliment.
Yeah. I tell you what, I learn things from people all the time. Different guys that did go hiking, just like fishing. It's like anything you do, really. The more people you talk to, the more you learn. But yeah, I think the big thing is just take simple hikes and take your time,
All right, good night, Micah Irving.
Yeah, Mike Irving, have a good night.
Chunky Cats, I agree with you. Sean is an amazing guy. He has a lot of information that could be used as far as safety-wise on a bank and on trails and on camping trips.
Do you guys use a hiking stick?
Yeah, like a walking stick.
If I'm on a long hike, I will use a Trek trail stick. But it really depends on your bag too. I mean, those are great to have if you're starting to get tired and you need to kind of rest and there's nothing to lean up against. But with my 511 tactical bag with those straps, while I'm hiking, I just hold on to the straps. You know, if my arms start to get tired, or if you're wearing a molly, you can rest your arms on that molly.
Right.
But yeah, I think sticks are a good thing to have.
You have quite an extensive knowledge. I know you've been trained in this as far as being in Homeland Security and stuff like that. But do you have any military training on first aid or what?
No, I do not. Now they do teach, like if you're a first responder in EMS or you're on a SWAT team, they do have like a military tactical EMS class that you can take. But I learned a lot of my through people that teach Stop the Bleed, like the trauma coordinators and EMS personnel.
For a bank fisherman, what kind of first aid kit would you suggest they use? And what would you have them have in it?
Yeah, so I mean, I would just make sure that you have like alcohol swabs and those types of things in there, just a simple first aid kit. And then just, I mean, you don't need to go out and buy like combat gauze for just at least have something where you can wrap a cut.
Okay. You had a lot of good information. That's not what you'd feed a kid, Doritos and bean dip. No wonder why she stunk up your house, Michael. What would your least inexpensive tent you would suggest to someone that's starting out?
Oh,
For
actually,
someone that could not afford it.
yeah, I'll show you. Hold up.
Michael, no wonder why she kept farting for 30 minutes. That combination had me blowing the windows out.
I tell you what, this is what I take with me hiking. It's a Magellan tent. It's got the glare, I think. I can't. Can you see that?
Not really. There, yeah, now I can see the picture of it. The Journey tent
Yeah.
by Magellan.
Yeah, so it's a two-person tent. It's like 7.5. It and the thing is that go into that tactical bag I showed you. I put that right down the middle of it, and then pack my equipment around it. So that's what I use for hiking. But for regular camping, I wouldn't use this.
What do you think of JanSport backpacks?
I can't really comment on it because I've never used them.
I've had 7 JanSport backpacks. First started out with an external frame. Now I got the internal frames.
Yeah.
I like the internal frames better than I do the external frames. But to a point, I like the external frames because you can tie more to the frames and tie a rope around it and tie it all together.
Right.
But the external frames are more of a bug out bag. You already have them pre-packed with your pockets, so your survival stuff and everything. Put your clothes and tent down the middle, and your sleeping bag in there somewhere. But it looked good.
Yeah, I think if it's just a regular camping trip, like your meet and greet, I like the Cabela's tents, but I still think Spring Bar probably makes one of the best tents because they're not plastic. I mean, it's like cloth, and once the first time it rains on that cloth, it hardens. And like I said, you can Gunslinger His YouTube channel has a lot of tent reviews on it.
And the spring bars have a website or something?
Yeah, so you just type in Google, just type in Spring Bar tents, and so they're pretty pricey. They can get up there in price, but they're well worth it. It'll last you a lifetime. And the thing is, they've made them. They hand make them, hand stitch it, everything, and they're the type of store that if you have a problem and they know about it, they'll call you up and talk to you.
Okay.
It's not like a big company where you just send an email and they'll send you one, a canned response saying they're really sorry to hear it. But Spring Bar will ask people like for their opinions and feedback, and whenever they make a new tent, they'll put those that feedback into the construction and design of those tents.
Okay. There's a question I've been thinking about. Water filtration systems versus the water tablets.
So what I recommend is making sure that you bring bottled water with you. I would in units over tablets because those you just never know what you're going to get with those tablets.
Yeah, whether they're expired or not expired or how fresh they are.
Yeah, but I'd make sure that if you're taking water out of somewhere, you're taking water that's moving,
Right.
not just some pond that's
No
sitting
stagnant
there with no
running
movement.
water.
Yeah, because that's the best way to get sick.
That's a good way to get dysentery.
Yep.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about those water filtration systems with the pumps in them, where you have the hose in there, then the pump in the middle of the hose, and it goes to a filter, into a container, and back out of that container into another one after it's filtered itself twice. I've seen that on a few hiking videos.
Yeah, and then also if you that's the best thing, is just to boil it.
Mm-hmm. I've done that quite a few times on camping trips. Just boiled water for an hour, then you
Let
have
it
to
cool down.
off. But I've always had enough water to last me for that hour until it cooled down.
Yeah.
Then after that 5 gallons cooled down, I put them in 1 gallon containers, then stuck them in ice and got them cold again.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions? Damn it. My phone shut off.
Well, we got quite a bit in tonight. We got fishing in and hiking and some talk about guns.
That's what I was trying to do, trying something new and have 2 guests on here at one time so I can get both your guys' opinions on various things. And I think it worked out pretty well.
I learned a lot from you, Catfish Headhunters, and Elston. As far as catfishing goes. But, there's a lot of good information.
Another channel you can learn off of, like Alexander Chunky Cat said, look up Catfish and Carp. Luke, his channel. He has 2 channels. He does the Outdoor Boys and Catfish and Carp. He shows you tips and tricks on how to catch carp and catfish from the bank and from a pontoon boat, and how to throw a cast net.
Who's the guy from Alabama that does all the crappie fishing? Has a pretty popular channel.
Richard Gene, the fishing machine?
Yeah, I like watching him.
He's cool. He's funny.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, and he's funny. Yep. Like when he's throwing those fish back in, he get in there, boy.
Uh-huh. I like watching him, and I like watching Luke, Catfish and Carp. And I like watching his Outdoors Boys channel, because he comes up with some really intriguing campfire meals.
Catfish Headhunters, that's a good question. I'll show you.
Come home with one less sock.
Yeah, I use this.
What is that?
Toilet paper, but it's really white. It's biodegradable, 5-star gear.
Oh, you get that out of an RV store or something?
Now I got it from an urban prepper.
An
Yeah.
urban prepper.
Yeah, it's an urban prepper, like a survival store,
All right.
but it doesn't take up a lot of room in your bag. Put that in
The
there.
RV section at Walmart would have that.
You can always buy a roll of toilet paper and
I know. I'm just
put it in a
saying
Ziploc bag.
something like that. Since this coronavirus is going crazy, you can find something like that at Walmart in a RV section, RV supply section.
Yeah, the people going crazy over this toilet paper, it's out of control. It's like you can use bounty rolls and stuff like that.
I went to the store
Kleenex.
Wednesday to buy some toilet paper and paper towels, and this little short 4'8" woman told me I couldn't have what was left on the shelf because she's taking it all. So I reached in there and I took what was left on the shelf, put it in my cart,
Yeah.
all 4 boxes of each. And I went through the store and passed it out to the families that needed it, that she was keeping from taking it. I did keep a couple packages for myself, but talking about pissing off a little woman. She went to the manager and told her I did everything under the sun to offend her because she had 6 carts full of paper towels and toilet paper. And
That's
took what was
crazy.
left
It's
on the
like
shelf.
the infant care products too. People were doing that with, like diapers and things like that. People walking in and out with carts of diapers, and then mothers with newborn infants going in there and they can't get any diapers or anything. Yeah, I mean, it's just out of control. But okay,
Biodegradables are the best toilet papers you can get.
yeah, they're good stuff. Yeah, I noticed that chicken and then beef products are the things that are primarily gone for hamburger meat.
Actually, the last few stores I went to Walmart last Wednesday to get some meat. The only thing that was left out there was the meat, the beef section, and the pork.
Yeah.
Everything else is wiped out. The fish section, the lobster section, the chicken section was all gone. I'm like, the pork was on sale, but it was still good. The beef was just put out there. Brisket was still out there. I'm like, really?
Yeah, all the good stuff is still out there.
Yeah, I walked out with maybe 5 packages of brisket, about 40 pounds a piece, at a cheap price.
Yeah.
I even got a few pork roasts at 18 pounds for $12 a package. So that came out good. But
man,
these people are just going ballistic. But see what I do with all that meat?
Yeah.
I cut
yeah,
it.
it's good. It's a little.
I'll cut it down and I vacuum seal it and date it and put it in the freezer. Because once I vacuum seal it, that meat's good inside that freezer for 2 years. Because there's no air in it, it won't freezer burn. Compared to putting it in its original container, it wouldn't be worth it after 6 months. Because it has all that moisture buildup in it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm real strongly in situations like this, even with my fishing, when I fillet the fish, I clean it out real good. I'll pat it dry, then I'll put it in the vacuum seal bag and vacuum seal it.
Yeah.
And that I can pull it out. Say I vacuum sealed it January 1st of this year, and I go back next year and I want a piece of catfish, pull it out from January 1st of this year, cut it open, and it's just as fresh as pulling it out of the lake and cleaning it. It's just like taking your barbecue and putting it in the vacuum seal bag and vacuum sealing it. When you pull it out 6 months or a year later, it comes out just as fresh as you take it off the grill. All you have to do is heat it up. Do you do any gardening great outdoors?
No, I don't. That's something I want to get into, but I'm going to wait until I get a house. I've been kind of playing around and doing some research with different YouTube channels, guys that are really into gardening and things like that. But yeah, I'd like to get into that just to have as a hobby. Grow your own food. I'm thinking simple stuff like potatoes, cucumbers.
Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Well, he does have a good point there. That is a good way to keep your stuff organically growing without any chemicals on it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, so you know what's on it, what's in it.
Yeah, I do go down to the, they have a farmer's market in Overland Park, Kansas, that I go down to that people that are big into gardening, they bring their food to there. So, I mean, you're getting fresh food that's homegrown by somebody and not from a big factory. And it tastes good too. Because it just came out of somebody's garden.
Oh, yeah, that's what I like about farmers markets, because they're fresh and they're basically organically grown. And you know, a lot of, if they say it's organically grown, there's not a lot of chemicals dumped on it.
Yeah.
Because it's all organically taken care of and treated. Like I was saying,
I think I'm going to turn in for the night.
all right, before you do, as soon as I know when this lift is lifted here in Illinois,
Yeah.
I will let everybody know that's interested for the meet and greet. And I will set a date for it and keep everybody in touch with it so they know exactly when and where it's going to be. It'll still be at the same place because it's closer to the water, and we'll have that pavilion and everything up there. So, yeah, the bathroom is a ways off, but that's the only bad part about that one. But all the other campsites I was looking at,
Yeah.
their campsites are maybe a quarter mile away from the river or a few hundred yards away from the river. And for the kind of fishing that we're wanting to do, we want our campsites close to where we're at fishing.
Yep.
So,
Well, you can watch those poles at night too.
right. You be sitting around a campfire and not having to worry about someone messing with us because we're
Running 100 yards and watching your pole go in the water.
right. That's why I'm still getting those pole holders. I'll have those pole holders for you. So I'm gonna get. I know you wanted 3. Headhunter wanted 2. I'm gonna get me 3 more. So that's gonna be 8. But that ain't gonna cost too much.
Yeah, no, just let me know the cost of it and I'll get
Yeah.
you.
Oh well. Well, thanks for joining. I'm sure everybody loved this video.
Yeah, it was a little bit different tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it. That's what I was trying to go for.
Yep.
And I'm sure.
Yeah, I like watching Elston. So hopefully when this all gets out, we'll have a big explosion of streams and new videos and stuff up. But I got to work on getting some of my stuff posted once this all ends and get my videos up on there and get them edited.
I agree, Headhunter. Let's not catch us BS. talking about the virus.
All right, guys. You have a good night, man.
All right, you too. You be safe over there, bud.
All right. Thanks, Avid.
Okay, y'all. Who's all in here that's left? Who's all in here that's left? Hey, blessed to invest. How you doing? What'd you guys think of me having two guests on here at one time? Yeah, he is well. He's an amazing man. You're welcome. That's about normal. So, what do you think of me about me having three guests on here tonight? I was holding some of the questions back because they were already answering some questions, so I had to give them each time to answer it before I went to the next one. Thank you, Michael. I'm trying to bring something new, something different. Hopefully, this live stream takes off because I'd love to see it boost. Well, Cafe San Hunter, good thing is you can go back and watch it. That's good. That's what I was trying to get across. Is keep it laid back, fun, solid questions, and humor, which is always good. This is the first live feed that I have had that one of my guests gave away 3 gifts in one night. That's a first time. I was not expecting. I did not talk to Chunky Cats about doing that. I wasn't expecting Chunky Cats to do something like that, and yet he came out and did 2 giveaways in one night, which blew me away. Michael, Justin, and Maurice, make sure you get a hold of Chunky sometime. Where you work at Blessed to Invest? Yeah, he is a good guy, but I would when I talked to him before the show, I was not expecting that. That never came across in conversations. Yeah, I agree with that one, Michael. Okay, you be safe, Blessed to Invest, because I know you're on the front line. So you be in my thoughts and prayers in what you do. Stay safe, would you? Yeah, let's keep her in our thoughts and prayers on that one because she's in front line in home health care and going into people's houses, not knowing what to expect. You're welcome. Thank you for your service, Blessed. I say that because my niece is in home health care, and I pray for her all the time because she's going in and out of people's houses. I don't know if you were in here earlier, Headhunters, but let's keep Catfish Weekly in our prayers and thoughts. Let me know if you'd like to see a video, another live stream like this again, and I'll see what I can do about doing it. You're quite welcome, Blessed. We try to support each other and keep each other together as a unit. He's got some medical issues right now, Jay. That's all I can say. He wants to keep it hush hush for now, so let's not. I'll talk to you later about it, Headhunter. He don't want it all to be let out right now, but later on when he finds out more, he'll talk about it. So, anybody have any questions? Or did all those questions get used up on Great Outdoors and Chunky Cats? You guys have any questions for me that you might want to know or ask? Amen, blessed. Amen. I agree with that one. I like your thinking. I like where your heart is. I agree with that. 100%. In the name of Jesus, he's healed. Soon as this COVID-19 lifts, there will be fishing. No, I have to work this weekend, Headhunter. I have to work 212s. Even though they let go of all non-essential employees today, they're keeping everybody that works security on the gates around. So that keeps me in the job. I'll be right back. I gotta get some water. Oh. Why not? It's been more. Where are you at, Michael? He's down here. It's been 70 and 75 the last few days with the sun out. If that's what you call it. Because he finally showed up in the last 2 days, and after a month of clouds, I almost began to wonder if we had a sun anymore. Hey, Outdoor Addiction, you missed it. I had two guests on here live. Chunky Cats and Great Outdoors, both at the same time. I think it was a great show. A lot of people in chat thought it was a great show. A great live. Oh yeah, that's right. Only one person in here would know my PB on the blue. Well, Great Outdoor Addiction, that's a good thing is you can go back and watch it. It's all recorded, so it'd be easy after this airs. It'd be easy to go back and watch it. Headhunter, I got a question for you. Ass? Headhunter, you're cussing in here. Shame on you. I got a two-part question for you, Headhunter, to see how well you know me. Or you can always go online and look. What are my two PVs for blue and flathead and channel cat? Make it a 3-part question. Gonna burn a few of your brain cells. Yeah, Tim, we gotta watch Headhunter. He's cussing in here. Well, I thought he'd know the answer by now. Or is he going back to my videos to find out? Or is he going back to Messenger to find out the answers? You still in here, Blessed? Well, what about the flathead? No, you're off on the flathead. You're right on the blue. And you're off on the channel. You got 1 out of 3 right. Do you bank fish, Blessed, or do you fish from a boat? Headhunter, you got 1 right. You got the blue right. The flathead and channel was wrong. No, you didn't fail. If you'd have went back through Messenger, you'd have found the answers. 32-pound channel and the 35-pound flathead. What do you say to that, Michael? I know lakes where people don't fish for cats, and that's where I go after the cats, where they catch little babies like this, not even 6-7 inches, and throw them in a bucket. Get 6 of them, take them home, and cook them up, fry them up like a potato chip, and eat them. Those like that, I throw back, and I keep the big ones. Headhunter, you put it up. You put my biggest flathead on Avid's meet and greet, so you should know the flathead record. If you look at my Avid meet and greet homepage, you'd see you'd see it. That I'm going to be honest with you and say I don't know. I failed on that one. No, I'd say your channel cat would be 30 something pounds. Or your blue. I don't think you have a flathead, and your channel, I'd say 12 pounds. Yeah, I know. It's hard to remember all the YouTubers' PBs. But me, I keep pushing my PBs on you every time I catch another one. Honesty is the best policy. Headhunter, after you watch his live stream, rewatch it. Let me know what you think. 23-pound channel is a good PB. 34-pound blue is a good one. And the 36-pound flathead's even good. Question is, was that off live bait or dough ball? Or chicken breast? What was the bait that you used to catch those three? Kind of figured that one. Chicken liver. Norman's bait of choice. Oh, wow. Live bait for the blue. What about the flathead? Another live bait. Those must be some good sized creek chubs to catch something that big. Were you night fishing or day fishing? I bet you it shocked you on that live bluegill. Bet you wasn't expecting to catch a blue cat on live bluegill. I'll catch it and get a state record for it. I seen that video where you had that one chub that was almost a state record. Wow, I'm surprised you didn't catch all three of them at night, especially a flathead. Whoa, we're back up to 7. All right, I'm going to end it here because I'm going to have to get up again early in the morning to get to work. And I will talk to you guys. Are you going live tomorrow night, Headhunter? Will you be doing a live show tomorrow night, Headhunter? All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. And good night, all. Have a good night. Be safe. Use a lot of soap and water on the hands and stay clean. See you next week, if not tomorrow night. Be safe, guys. God bless you too. Blessed to invest.